Hopefully Luke's on in a bit here. We are going to hear more in an interview that Dave Thomas had with Commissioner Stuart Johnson and some clips on how the CFL tackled the smoke delay and everything on Friday. And trust me, I know. And you don't have to look very hard to get people's opinions on how it was handled. Again, I've never been in that situation. I've never had to cancel a major event. Been close to canceling a wedding. Other than that, there's a lot to it. So I've never been in those shoes. I'm taking it. Your comments are always welcome. 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Power tools, gardening tools, generators, skid steers, the whole works. It's one of those days. Also, like I said, Ryan Pollock after 4. And then we're supposed to have Markway McDaniels joining us just after 4 on the coaches show this week. Receivers coach with our Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then hour 3, Darien Durant. We're going to sprinkle in some winning, some pick the score, some Red Sox tickets. Speaking of the Red Sox, if you're planning to go to that game tonight, it's now postponed. No game tonight. Swift and the Red Sox postponed. They're going to do a double dip July 26th, 3:30 and 7 p.m. Let's start with this. Walking by the studio in downtown Regina, which is apparently not for everybody, is Wes Cates. I wave. I'm like, come on in. So Wes Cates just popped into the studio. Let me get your
I was trying
synopsis.
to get my steps in, Barney.
Yeah,
what the heck, man?
Yeah?
You interrupted me.
Because this weekend you wouldn't have been able to do a lot of working out because so many things were in limbo.
Yeah, I was tied up. I was looking at my steps like, man, I didn't get many in on Friday or Saturday.
You played in the league. Even going back to your high school days, college, anything like that. Have you ever experienced as a player a game that was pushed back to another day?
No. Well, I shouldn't say that. Well, no, I have had one canceled, but not pushed back. I played college during 9/11, so missed that week. But no, never anything postponed like that. I thought it was weird. I thought after about an hour and a half, it was kind of pointless to keep, you know what I mean, delaying it. But I found out that the rules are as long as the game doesn't actually start, you can kind of postpone it as long as you need to. So it can kind of be postponed all day. But once it starts, then you only have an hour window to delay it. So, all right.
I was shocked. I was out at Country Thunder because after the first part of the delay, I had some people that I had to take care of. I had to get them out there, all that. I'm like, okay, we can make it back in. And I said, we could be into midnight football.
Yeah.
This could be something special.
Well, that's the one thing, because I was thinking about it, because I was, like, during the extra call, like, on air, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'd never want to play. But then I was like, but it would be kind of cool to say you played a night game or, like, a midnight game or something like that. Yeah. But I still feel like just everything you have to go through and just sitting there waiting, once you're kind of into your routine, your anxiety, all that stuff, anticipation gets you hyped up. And then, you know, you're running off of the meal, you know, everybody's got that specific meal because they want the carbs and the energy, but they don't want to feel too heavy. So you kind of, like, once you mess that up, it kind of throws you all off.
And the elder statesmen, the older guys in the team, getting warmed up at late 30s is a lot different than getting warmed up in your early 20s.
Exactly.
When you're like Gumby.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the old guys wouldn't have made it. They'd have, like, fell asleep on the sideline or something during the midnight game. Yeah. The young dudes might have thought it was fun, but those guys like, man, I'm ready for bed. I don't have it. The energy's gone. Did
you get any insight? Did you talk to anybody from Calgary and just the rigmarole, to use a great word, that they went through Friday night? Because I'm sure while they're behind the scenes looking at, okay, is this game going to go? When does it go? If we need a half-hour warm-up. There's another probably platoon or group of people going, what happens if we got to play this tomorrow? We got to get these guys in beds. Yeah. We got to get them food. It sounded like a schmozzle for the Stamps.
Well, it sounded like maybe some of them went to Moose Jaw.
No way.
I know a few of them got rooms at Hotel Sask.
Yeah.
And then I think the majority of them got rooms at the dorms. Yeah. So, I mean, this was my rationale. It's like as the road team, they're coming off of, everything was kind of more normal for them, even though the Riders were at home. When you're on the road, you already know you're not sleeping in your bed. And most hotel rooms that the league puts the teams up into have great beds, but that doesn't mean that it's your bed, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're gonna get the most quality sleep. So I think that almost helped the Stamps. You know what I mean? Because their mindset was already ready for the uncertainty of being on the road.
Yeah.
So
we're already uncomfortable a bit.
Yeah.
We're a little more uncomfortable. The other thing too, and I think I was listening to you guys on the post game, was it's Regina. Like, there's not a lot of food options at 11:30 at night.
Yeah. No, for sure. So I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe O'Hanlon's got a nice little order in late or something.
Maybe that platoon planned for that, right? Like they were like, hey, now we got to get these guys some like regular food. They can't be eating fast food, all that. And then game wise, like we're gonna get into it here for the next 3 hours, and I know you guys did, but it was definitely one of those sporting events where a team, you think it's like step on the throat early. They don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Let's just wrap this up. And it was like the Riders didn't do that, especially in those first two possessions. The bobbled punt, Calgary didn't look buttoned up at all.
No.
And then they just started methodically picking it apart. And it's like, whoa. Like, I felt the Riders were up 21-0. They're up 3-0, like a lot of fans. Yeah. And then they just, I thought how Vernon Adams and maybe it was the game plan. Maybe it was him with that quick little pump.
Yeah.
And then picked apart the zone.
I think that the Stamps came in like we're gonna do heavy run, because I noticed the very first play, even where Vernon Adams threw that pick, they brought in an extra O lineman, and I'm like, okay, they're going heavy first play, so they're going to establish the run. Then they come out of it with a play action, and then Vernon kind of throws it short, but he was looking for that little mid-range zone towards the sideline, and
like the little shallow
shallow
pattern.
corner,
corner pattern.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, they played that all right. But then they came back to it. And then they hit it. And then they came back to it again and again. And I'm like, well, they clearly had a game plan to hit that part of the zone. So why aren't we adjusting to kind of close that off? So that kind of frustrated me. And then the fact that the Riders have this persona of being a run team now, and then they didn't run. And I'm like, okay, so basically Calgary kind of did everything right in coming out with a game plan and sticking to it. And the Riders seem to completely go away from, I don't know, maybe the game plan was, hey, Stamps looked good on the run last week, so we're just going to air it out. But when you're short on receivers, you know what I mean? And then they were all that intermediate, those hooks and stuff that the Riders have been getting over the first few weeks. Calgary took that away. That's why Robistelli ate on the outside. So, I mean, the Riders adjusted. I would say Trevor Harris adjusted well. I don't know if it was as much of Mueller making some play calls. I'm sure he made a few, but I thought Trevor Harris just said, this is all they're giving me. I'm going to take these shots over the top outside.
I thought that exactly. About halfway through the game, I'm like, they're not giving him those like those little quick slants, the little hooks in the middle. No. They're kind of taking that away. And then I thought the Riders possibly, and you as a former running back, I thought maybe they'd go to more swing passes, more even wide out screens. Because if they're giving them that outside, back to the Stamps, and the play, I think it was the first touchdown, where they fake the hitch or the screen, and then they had the two guys running verticals. Mm-hmm. That was a thing of beauty, and I'm like, that is coaching, scouting, and then they executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I felt like this was probably the first game that the Riders got out coached, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's just
and that happens.
Flat out. Yeah. It just happened because you think, well, maybe that was a kind of a fluke what Calgary did to Winnipeg. And so you're like, we're just going to stick to what we know. And then Calgary's like, oh, I hope they stick to what they know because we got that covered.
Hey, I got egg on my face because I was waiting to see. I was like, is Calgary for real? We're going to see Friday night, which turned into Saturday afternoon. Now, I'm a little bit of a believer in the Stamps. And for having that turnover that they had this year, they're still young as a team. like 4 or 5 games in. Still young.
Yeah.
So
They look good.
where
Those
they go?
veteran DBs and and vets they have on O.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Moncrief.
they're bringing the young guys along quick.
Are you worried about BC?
Not as much as I was worried. If I'm being honest, I was kind of worried about this game against Calgary because just the way they played against Winnipeg, even with Oliveira back, I was like, man, Calgary's defense kind of looked like they had answers for everything against Winnipeg. And I actually told a couple people before the game, I didn't say this on air, but I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Calgary wins by a couple scores.
Yeah.
Just because they look good, and sometimes you never know how you're going to play coming off of a bye. So, I mean, when I went back and looked at the stats, I was like, really, the Riders didn't get dominated, except for in the run game. But other than that, it was a pretty fair game. They just didn't take advantage of those turnovers like you talked about. So, I don't think it's like panic mode, but I do think like the Riders got to, you know what I mean, start getting a little more creative and figure some things out, and definitely make sure that you don't lose that run game prowess that they have, because like that's what you need really. If you're thinking about winning a championship, you need teams to fear to run, and you need to be able to get yards on the ground.
9
in
yards.
the clutch.
9 yards for AJ.
Yeah,
If a guy would have bet AJ Olette under 20 yards, they would have sent someone to your house saying you're a crazy person.
right. Yeah, straight
9
up.
yards.
Yeah, I wonder if AJ was part of the, what do they call it? Like the betting, whatever, when they have 3 things on the line.
That's hard to believe. I'm worried about the Lions, because not that, it's not everything's a copycat league and everyone's always saying like, but the book's out there maybe a little bit on how to pick apart the Riders zone, but then they'll adjust.
Yeah,
and then they're going to show different looks. Okay, well, let you get your steps in.
Yeah, all right, man.
Hey, thanks for coming by. Wes Case joining us here. We'll take a quick break. It is the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Were you seriously just out for a walk?
Yeah. I was like,
big win. Augers to grain carts. Visit online or stop by in person. We're in go mode with you. Everything's online at ebarassa.com. You're in it to bin it dealer.
Let's get out on the water. Now is the best time of year to buy a boat or pontoon at Kevin's Marine. Cast a line in a Lund fishing boat. Take the family out on a Four Winds boat. Or head out on a pontoon by Harris or Crest. Powered by Mercury Motors at the lowest prices of the year. There are manufacturer's rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing on a great selection of boats and pontoons. Plus Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. Enjoy your summer. Get out on the water. Stop by or shop online at kevinsmarine.com.
SaskToday.ca is your local news source, proudly serving communities all across Saskatchewan. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground focusing on local topics that matter to you. From agriculture, local community news, sports, and more. Find it all at SaskToday.ca. Sign up for our daily news digest at SaskToday.ca. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com, on our YouTube channel, and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports. 620 CKRM.
Mondays for Kellen Solar. Maybe it's time you got solar on your home, farm, or business. You can visit the local guys. Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Colson's with me. That was nice. Little pop in from West Cates. We're going to have Luke Mullander here in a moment. Don't forget, SaskTel pick the score. Colson just gave me the thumbs up. We are playing it today. Chance to win tickets to the next Rider home game. If you're the closest to, you got a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card. All you got to do is text in the Prairieland Rentals text line 936-6262. What is the score Saturday? Riders at Lions. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff. I'm worried. I'm a little worried. 936-6262. Also, if you got any comments, like Wayne in Regina says, what happened to our running game? Yeah. They got out-physicaled. That's a term being used a lot. And we got to give Calgary credit. I'm giving Calgary credit. I said, are they a Fugazi? I don't know. Are they for real? We're going to find out. And we found out. I think they're a lot better football team than I gave them credit for. Were we going to go undefeated? I don't think anyone thought that. I remember last year when we laid that egg against Edmonton? That was bad. Calgary at least came in and played really good football. Thanks for the text, Wayne and Regina. We'll get to some more of these in a moment. Western Pizza. It's Monday. If you don't want to cook, get the perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love, like souvlaki, ribs, and salad. Western Pizza. Luke Mullander joins us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Luke, let's basically start with. I asked Wes Cases. He was just popping in. He was getting his steps in. He stepped into the studio. All your football time, college, high school, you ever had a postponed game that was played the next day?
No, we weren't soft back then, man. You know, if there was an issue, we were going to play it. You know, whether that was in a field, in a parking lot, whatever it was, we were going to play. I when I say that in jest, obviously, you know, these days there are different protocols in place. But I know there were a couple little league games that were played in Saskatchewan that very same night around 7:30. So,
yeah, and I truly believe when Stuart Johnston talks and everyone talked, they wanted to get this game in. Like when you think about the logistics. You know, you're in a position where you got to move people around a lot, and you got to think on your feet, and you got crisis, and like you think about all the security staff that had to come back the next day. They had to like loop in. There was a lot of logistics, and then the stamps. Where are we going to house these guys? What are they going to eat? They definitely wanted to get the game in. I thought we were going to see midnight football.
Well, they definitely wanted to play it because logistically, bringing everybody back and having the capacity to do a nationally filmed football game after that was going to be a nightmare. So, you know what? I think that one of the things that I really enjoyed from Stuart Johnson, our commissioner, was his very direct sort of nature in saying, hey, this is what we want to fix. This is what should have been fixed, and this is what we're going to do next time. That was a good leadership moment, I think, for Stuart and as the new commissioner in this league. You don't want to come out with a very sort of generalized blanket statement after a deal like that. But again, people have to understand, like, food, staffing, custodial, the TSN guys, and more importantly, the volunteers who needed to be called and asked to come back and refound. It was to get that game replayed was a monstrous effort. So there's no doubt that the league definitely wanted to play it regardless. I mean, there would have been some grumpy folks like myself and guys like Wes who would have had to do the post-game show at 3 a.m. But you know, I think it worked out for everybody.
If a guy would have put down a prop bet on AJ Ouellette under 10 yards in the game, like I said to Wes, you might have been locked up. They might have sent someone to your house, found your RP address, and be like, this guy's off his rocker. Hard to believe that we couldn't establish any kind of running game, how our offensive line had no push against what Calgary was doing there.
Well, I don't think it was hard to believe. I think the Calgary came out and very early on in the series, in the first quarter, they loaded the box up. They let Mark Mueller and the Saskatchewan offense very early on. They let them know that they were going to take AJ Ouellette out of the football game, and that's exactly what they did. Going into that game, that team was 3-1, and especially against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, it was the same sort of deal. That Calgary defense is really good. They're stingy. They play well together, and more importantly, the effort to the football when the ball was in play was spectacular. So I really enjoyed watching the game. I know that we don't want the Saskatchewan Roughriders to lose, but I thought Calgary played great. So it didn't surprise me, but that their strategy was obviously to limit AJ Ouellette. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do that every single game in and game out. But very early in that first quarter, you could tell, especially around the first down plays, the way they were loading that box up, they were focused in on limiting AJ. And I think that it was also sort of smart of them, right? Like, it wasn't just AJ Ouellette they eliminated, right? It was Keyshawn Johnson not being able to get involved and make plays, and it was also guys like Del Duncan Busby who got froze out of the offense, right? So it's a good thing that Joe Robustelli had a career game, but if you're Calgary, that's what you want to happen. One guy who really, who had a good game but didn't make a massive impact, you're okay with that. But let's just take their playmakers out of the game and see how well they do. And Saskatchewan lost for it. I thought Calgary played well, and I'm glad that you sort of mentioned that too. It wasn't necessarily the Riders just sort of falling apart, and it's like you said, Calgary played a good game, and they're a good football team.
Yeah, last year when we lay that egg against Edmonton, we can go, well, the Riders didn't play good, and Edmonton, they weren't a very good football team. This year, hey, and you called me on it last Monday. You said Calgary's for real, and I said I got to wait and see. I got to see it, and we did. Should we be worried though that maybe teams maybe have a little bit of a book on now how to shut down our run? Obviously, we're going to adjust. Mark Mueller's going to adjust. They're putting in the time right now. We got Markway McDaniels coming up in hour 2. But it worries me a bit, Luke, that we adjusted fine to throw the ball in the second half, and we came out slinging it around the park, but not still being able to muster anything on the ground.
Yeah, I get that, but you know what? You're gonna have those days. I think that the major concern is defensively. We saw a lot of what we saw in Winnipeg when Calgary was able to be successful. Just Vernon Adams having all sorts of time to go through his progressions and reads. Right? They did a good job of getting him outside of the pocket too and playing to his strengths. So they let him move around a bit. But again, when they rolled him out, for instance, on the play action passes, they rolled him out to the right, and they gave him 4 receivers running to the right with him, right, and let him choose. And then when they did want to ask him to get back into the pocket, man, he just had so much time. So, again, lots of credit to Calgary. I think that, every time you're not going to be able to throw for 500 yards and run for 200 yards every single game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But I think one of the major concerns there was defensively, just the inability to get Vernon Adams uncomfortable consistently. Like, he had that one interception in the first quarter, and then he looked like an all-star, man. It was crazy. I was getting all sorts of texts and comments during the game. Like, man, he is slicing us.
He was looking off, and you're an old defender going to tell you. And then he had that quick little pump fake. And in a zone, and then he was just picking apart to the right guy. You look left, he's going right. Like, it was methodical, out-schemed a bit for sure. Defensively, what would you have changed? What would you have changed to maybe try and get some more pressure on him?
Oh man, you know what? I mean, there's only so much you can do. I personally And again, Coach Mace is far more qualified than I am as a defensive coordinator in professional football, right? So, but I would have loved to see just a consistent stream of pressure, right? We were calling the first down strong side blitz a little bit, but man, I would have just eventually just thrown everything out there and left it to play man. But here's the thing, here's the problem. If you call a zero blitz, right? So no safety, everybody on the line of scrimmage, attacking the line of scrimmage, and then asking your defensive backs to play man defense. The problem is, like, Damon Alford, right? Like, their first-round pick, they're doing this it's like LeBron James running around out there, man. Like, they got some playmakers to complement everything that the Riders could do. So, schematically, I think they would have found a way to try to get the ball in their playmakers' hands anyways. And don't forget, this is an offense without Reggie Bagleton, by the way, right? Like, without him. I think you just throw as much pressure at Vernon Adams as you can and ask your guys to play man, because just clearly that offensive line is well-equipped to block against 4 guys, even 5.
When I had Jock Wilson on last week, pre- and post-game for the Stamps, and we talked about Damian Alford. I'm like, he's a big body. You throw that up and he kind of had a bit of a coming-out party.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's going to be like a Joe. One and done here. He'll probably get a shot in the league here next year if he continues doing what he was doing.
That's a really good point.
It all depends on how well he can. Like right now, he's going off the waggle. Right in the NFL, they're going to want to see him be able to get off the line without the waggle. But man, that guy's got NFL written all over him.
Couple more here, and I'm going to ask Darien about this in hour 3. And I'm sitting there watching, and I get that, Robustelli, and they were giving Trevor the outside, and then that's what they kind of were giving. And if they were going to bite up, hopefully he was going to be able to read it in time. They were giving him the outside. I thought maybe a few wide receiver screens, maybe some swing passes to try. Would you have tried anything differently offensively against what the Stamps were doing? They moved the ball great in the second half, but we needed to score.
Yeah, I don't know about those wide receiver screens. You got to block them up. That's the problem with the wide receiver screens, and I think that's why you're starting to see some of the offensive coordinators trail off on getting the wide receiver the ball quickly to the edges, because you're so dependent on your receiver's ability to block. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have become really good blocking receivers, but for the most part, I think that it's tend to be looked at as a bit of a risk these days, just because of the way a DB can attack it. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I think that just being reliant on if they're taking AJ Ouellette out of the game, then just bail on it. Maybe 6 receivers. I don't know. I don't know what the answer was. All I do know is that one of the things we talked about in the pregame was your 3 keys to the game, and one of the keys was the Mark Mueller versus Bob Slowick matchup. And Bob Slowick, man, I think that he came in with a great game plan.
He did. Do you think a little bit of a message today? I know we're always bringing in offensive linemen, but they bring in Darien, offensive line Canadian, BC Lions 5th round pick. They bring him in today. Are we going to be seeing maybe a few more offensive linemen to try and rectify things there?
I don't think it's time to push the panic button. I think that a guy like the guy they just picked up today, he was available for a reason, right? If you're a really good offensive lineman, especially a Canadian one, you're gonna be on a roster some way, shape, or form. So I think that's more of a depth add than anything. And again, let's not panic here, right? Like up until it was 4-0. We were 4-0. We're now 4-1, and we're second in the West and probably the second best team in the league. I would not submit a suggestion that states, we should revamp things. Like, this was a really good team, and they got beat by a team that's playing well. But this is a marathon and not a sprint, and there is zero reason to panic right now. What you need to do is you need to get back into the film room, see where the gaps were. What weren't we able to do, and why weren't we able to do it? And then do that. Put that into your process, get things corrected, and get ready to make a flight to BC, because that BC Lions team plays a lot better with Nathan Rourke than they do with Jeremiah Masoli.
You're not worried about Brett Lawler going 1 for 3?
You just had to ruin it, huh? Listen. Brett Lowther is a professional football player, and he knows what he needs to do. The one thing that you need to be, see, again, it's one of those deals, right? Like, I get that, who's a guy that has a ton of points for the Riders. We don't care about points, right? The fan base doesn't care about points. You know what the fan base cares about? Kicking field goals and being consistent at that and helping the team win, right? And I'm not saying that the 6 points that Brett Lowther missed out on was going to win them the game this week, but we need some consistency in that kicking game, and I think Brett Lowther knows that.
Yeah. Maybe we can catch up on Friday, me and you?
Dude, let's do it.
You know that 36 years ago today that Milli Vanilli released Blame It on the Rain?
Really? Milli Vanilli, I'll tell you what, man. They got a raw deal.
They did.
If Milli Vanilli was doing this now, they'd still be number one. Because it wasn't just remember that song, Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You? Man, I'll tell you what, that Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You song is fire. I don't care who was lip syncing it.
They got a catalog, and you're totally right. They do that in this day and age. They're selling out the Sphere in Vegas on a residency. They're touring.
Right.
Yeah. No, they got it. They got a raw deal. All right, Luke. Have a good week. Hopefully, we get to catch up on Friday.
Have a good show, man.
Yep. Color commentator on our Rider Broadcast Network, Luke Mullander. Yeah. You look at the stat line though. If you happen to be if you went to Mars for the weekend and you came back and you looked at the stat line, Trevor Harris, 425. You would think that, wow, what a shootout. What a game it was. Calgary had our number. We got to admit, we were beat by a better team, right, on Friday. I haven't even looked at a lot of these texts coming in here. And there's more. Yeah, running game. Lots on the running game. 9 yards for A.J. Ouellette. Say that out loud. There is no way. You would have told someone that, hey, AJ, get this. A.J. Ouellette's going to have 9 yards in this game on Saturday. We called him a wacko. Get out of here. Get out of my house. 9 yards. And then I remember Colson, again, a little bit of egg on my face. I thought they'd use Kadeem Carey more. But it was... They like Luke always says, they say they get paid too. Professional football players. Game plan was tight. Luke talked about the Bob Slowick from Calgary against Mueller. We get him again though. Yeah. We're in a hole in the 2-game total point if it comes down to any kind of tie. I don't like where we stand right now, but that'll be a really good game to go to in Calgary. And Calgary's full of Saskatchewan people and green and white. And when is that one? Saskatchewan to Calgary, August 23rd. Oh, that's a good trip right there. A little Callaway Parks and Pete's driving. Watch the Stamps and Riders. We'll go to the Prairland Rentals text line when we get back here and read some of these. Keep them coming. It is the Sports Cage. Appreciate everyone who's hitting the like button. Colson does on the YouTube, on the stream at sportscage.com. And as always, the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
When most people look at windows, they look right through them. When the guys at North Home Windows look at windows, they see a chance to improve the efficiency and comfort of your home. They know old windows are drafty. If your windows are old and drafty, call North Home Windows. They're built in Saskatchewan for Saskatchewan conditions, meaning you'll get the perfect window for your home. And if you call now, you can still book a summer or fall installation. 1-866-362-6525, northhomewindows.ca.
It's time to bring the energy, throw on your green, pack the stands, and get loud. Because this isn't just a game. It's Regina Rams football. Come cheer on the Rams all season long, and let's show the visiting team why Regina is the best city to catch a game. Family-friendly, affordable, and packed with fun in-game entertainment, giveaways, and of course hard-hitting, action-packed football. Season tickets are on sale now at reginarams.com. It's football time. Go Rams.
This July, Core Grain is back at Ag in Motion in Langham, Saskatchewan. Swing by booth 492 to explore the latest in grain storage, handling, and monitoring solutions designed for prairie farms like yours. Harvest's coming fast. Let's get you ready. And don't miss your chance to win a 100-ton West Steel bin in the Great Bin Giveaway. Winner will be announced live at the show. Ag in Motion, July 15th to 17th, booth 492. Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm.
Canada, there's no mountain we can't climb. No challenge we can't conquer. We won't let any roadblock stand in our way. A detour simply means we'll find a new way to get where we're going. When faced with a U-turn, we'll do whatever it takes to make it to the finish line. We are a country built on tradition, a tradition of perseverance and strength. This is awesome! It's race time. Are you ready?
The Amazing Race Canada, all new, Tuesday at 9 on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
620 CKRM and Harvard Media believe in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we participate in the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. We are committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcast excellence and adhering to the codes and conduct administered by the CBSC. If you have a comment to make about our programming or a concern about something you heard on our station, contact us on our website, 620ckrm.com. or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca.
As a farmer in Saskatchewan, you're always thinking about growing, but you also need to think about, well, growing. That's why Connexus launched the Ag Grow Fund. It's a program specifically designed to help farmers like you grow your ambitions, with discounted rates on new fixed-rate term loans and mortgages. There's up to $2 million in funding available, with no maximum age restrictions or application fees. So what do you say? Let's get growing. Visit connexus.ca/aggrowfund to learn more.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com and our YouTube channel. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
It's for Kellen Solar. Anything you need, solar, livestock operation, they can get the water to you, the solar system. Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Prairie Land Rentals text line, deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. We got Randy, and I looked at the area code. Didn't ring a bell, as they say. Get this text from Randy. Randy's in Alabama. Thanks for listening, Randy, or watching on YouTube. Never had any of our high school games postponed due to quality, saying air quality. But we did have an away game at a stadium with a hay field behind one of the end zones on which chicken litter had been spread. Nothing like a 94-degree hot August North Alabama night with that aroma. That would stink. Randy in Holly Pound, Alabama. You said it's between Huntsville and Birmingham?
Yeah, about halfway. 94 degrees Fahrenheit is 35 Celsius.
Oh, yeah. That would stink. Be muggy down there, too.
Yeah.
Nice part of the world, though, that Huntsville area. Thanks, Randy, for listening. Roscoe in Kindersley. He stamps are way better than the experts in CFL knowledge perfected.
Probably predicted.
Roscoe could be on the Monday sauce in Kindersley, but we get what you're saying. I'm definitely not a CFL expert. Not even close. But I did say I need to see Calgary, maybe that one-off against Winnipeg, and I saw it. It was Saturday afternoon. It wasn't Friday night. My eyeball test said Calgary is a good football team. They're going to continue to get better because a lot of these guys haven't played together more than 4 games. Ed in Regina. Hey, Barney, did the Stamps, what did the Stamps do Friday night? Did they return to Calgary? No, they stayed here. They got to get dorms. Some of them stayed at the Hotel Sask. I'm sure guys like Vernon Adams. He was like, you can stay here. Hey, you rookies, you're moving to the Coachman. And some of you guys are going to the U of R. So they did dorms. That would have been like that's the thing. And I know a lot of people are crapping on like the Riders for what they did. I had a buddy from Saskatoon that was bringing his kid to his first ever Saskatchewan Roughrider game Friday. They had other people they were going with. It was an event. And then that happens. That's unfortunate. Luckily, they were able to go Saturday. I know a lot of people out there, and it's evident on the text line and our social feeds, you couldn't. It's tough to get a room in Regina with Country Thunder going on, the Rider game, other things, and financial aspect. And what if you have to maybe you have to get home to work. Maybe your kid's got Baltimore. Maybe your kid's got the farm, something, whatever. You had to get home. So you couldn't stick around. I put myself in the shoes of the league, the PA, or the Riders. I don't know if I want that smoke. That's big-time decisions. Like, it's not bringing Apollo 13 back to Earth in a lifeboat, but those are tough decisions that had to be made. And, of course, they wanted to play the game. I legit, and it could have been the gin talking, but we were planning on getting the bus from Country Thunder after Jason Aldean and going to the game. I'm like, they're going to play at midnight. We're going to be able to go watch when we say we were at the game that ended at 2:30 in the morning.
There was an Edmonton game, and I think it was the game that they made all the rules after. Yeah, where it was delayed for like 3 hours because of that thunderstorm. That's the closest you're going to get to this because they finished at like 1:30.
Everybody was talking about that game.
Yeah. My dad was in the garage working on something. He comes back and he's like, oh, I wonder what the score was. What do you mean it's still going? And then I got home from work at like 12:30 and the game was still on. So, yeah.
My buddy that he goes to the garage to work on things. He just goes there to get away from his family. He's got a beer fridge in there.
Oof.
Brandon. Yeah, see, this is huge shout out to Craig Reynolds and the Saskatchewan Roughrider staff. They constantly go out of their way in the extra mile for fans. And the volunteers had the place spotless in less than 24 hours. Good text. The volunteer, I thought about the workers and the security staff and all that had to come back. Maybe they got to take public transportation. They got to get back to work. Hey, guess what? You got to come back. We need you back here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Well, I got kids. I got stuff, parenting things. Then you had all the volunteers. There's a lot of moving parts that I wouldn't have wanted to be a part of. Who else we got here? Leonard. Our kicker is all about what have you done for me lately. I was the 50. So I don't know because I'm listening to Dave and Luke. I'm watching it. I thought the hold, there was something wrong with the hold on the 52. I could be wrong. On the 52-yarder, I'm like, I don't think that hold was fantastic. And he missed it. And then the late one, I just listened to the radio feed. I didn't see it. And it was a nothing burger. They were trying to close the gap of the 2-game, yada, yada. And he missed that. It's just...
yeah, that one was from 44.
That was 44?
Yeah.
No win. No name on this text. The worst part about Friday night was the piss poor communication from the CFL and the Riders to the fans. Okay. What else did you want, though? I was following on social media. Dave was pretty buttoned up. Our radio team was giving updates as much as they could. Maybe, and I think that's where we get some comments from Stu. He said they could have been more clear. So maybe to this unnamed texter, that I think it's actually Danny. I guess so. Live and learn. I would really like to know the PA stance and how hard they were with that number. You can't move that number at all. Like whatever, let's call it 8 on the smoke, whatever it is.
Yeah, the air quality index or whatever.
If it's 9, like, is it hard? Like, no. If it is over, we can't go. Or could you push it? And then the other thing that a lot of people, and I think there's some text messages here, RJ and Moose Jaw, it was one of them, and they're talking about why was it okay for the cheerleaders to do their good point. everybody in the stands, professional athletes, they tried. It'd be a good docuseries to find out all the moving parts in that 5 hours and what was going on and the headaches and just people yelling at each other and pissed off. And how do we make this happen? They couldn't. And then they talk about the wind stalling or whatever. Like the wind obviously didn't. There was some, but not enough coming from Moose Jaw to switch it around or to clear it out. I thought. What did you think, Colson? What time did you get home?
So it's hilarious. If the game had actually kicked off right at 7 when it was supposed to, I would have got home about the same time as when I did. So I got home at about 11:30. So it was like we did the game anyways. It's just it
was more the next day.
Yeah, because
regroup.
Yeah, because I get out a little bit before the end of the game because honestly, I am no help with the post-game call-in because I've been dialed in doing my things here the whole day. So the few times I've had to run the post-game show, it's exhausting. So I could stay around for that last hour, but I'm no help to anybody. So they just say, get out of here. Stop distracting us. But yeah, I was trying to look at all the weather things, but I'm no expert. I was trying to look at all the stuff. Our team was doing a great job of just trying to keep everyone informed and entertained. And that's all we really could do.
They did a great, that is the, I think it was DA I was out of country center. He's like, wow, they got to kill a lot of time. It's almost like they got to do a 3-hour talk show. I'm like, they got things buttoned up. They had clips. There's 3 or 4 of them. They did an awesome job.
We pulled, I think, 4 or 5 guests kind of from the crowd, right? Like people who we knew were in town and were just like, hey, you want to come on? We just got to fill time, right? And look behind the scenes, there was one stretch, and you can go back to our podcasts, 3 hours and 20 minutes straight. No breaks, no nothing. Just tossing back between Dave and Luke and the panel and whatever guests they got. So,
anyone do any trivia? That would always do that.
Well, we had Rob Vanstone on for a bit, so
always passes.
Got some trivia there, sort of, but
useless trivia. Always good. Kate Leonard, Prairie Line Rentals text line 936-6262. How about having a roof on the stadium where it is smoke-proof, rain-proof, and snow-proof? I know. And I know a lot of people say that. What year was the stadium built? 17?
I think so.
I was given a crash course in the stadium and why there wasn't a roof. And there was hard numbers from some really smart gentlemen where I just sat there and listened that were architects, that were part of the build, that were advisors in it. They explained if they would have put a roof on that stadium, the city would be broke. We would have had to sell the city to somebody because it would be so expensive to heat in the winter and keep cool in the summer when you wanted to close it. Again, these people were way smarter than me, but they laid it out in basically brass tacks. Mm-hmm. This is what would happen if we put a roof on that stadium. This is how much it would cost the city. We'd be broke. I'll be broke. Keep them coming, 936-6262. Getting to the top of the hour. Ryan Pollock's going to be with me an hour or two. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with a little sports ticker and some news on the Red Sox game this evening. It is a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the BC Lions. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk and Tegan Whitco's at 2. The pregame show's at 4. And kickoff with Luke Mullander and I is at 5. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by the Cooperators, Saskatchewan Party Caucus, and Vaderstad. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
Here at Young's Equipment, your local Case IH dealer, we want you to put the very best into your machine so that you can get the very best out of your machine. Choose to use Case IH genuine parts. Only Case IH genuine parts are specifically engineered to fit and function perfectly with your Case IH equipment. They deliver the performance your business demands while giving you the durability your schedule depends on. So when you want to maximize your performance, go with the original Case IH genuine parts. To find Case IH genuine parts, visit Young's Equipment Incorporated.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000-square-foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. Apply now.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
In the summertime, when the weather is fine, you've got groceries on your mind. Your favorite grocery store, Crawford's No Frills, is now open from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. for all your summer shopping needs. Check out their weekly flyer and visit nofrills.ca for all the hot deals to match the hot weather. They also now have DoorDash, so you don't even need to leave your air-conditioned home to get your groceries. No bells, no whistles, no frills. Crawford's No Frills. They won't be beat.
If your garage door is running a little rough, you don't need to be talked into something that you don't need.
Sir, what you need is the new gigantic-esque, voluminous, astronomical, ginormous, gargantuan, exquisite air garage.
Just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in business for many, many doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Wait. With me, you get a little garage door keychain, please.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. For all your hot water needs, call on Reliance Heath today.
Riders have signed national offensive lineman Darien. He was selected by the BC Lions in the 5th round, 41st overall. WCBL Red Sox Swift Current game postponed. They're going to do a double dip July 26th instead. Sox are third in the East, 9.5 back of Saskatoon, who are scheduled to play in Weyburn tonight. Moose Jaws in Medicine Hat. Blue Jays don't play. It's the All-Star break. Jays sit 2 games up on New York, 3 up on Boston in the AL East. At the Home Run Derby tonight. It's a real who's who in that. Some fastball news. Venezuela won the World Cup up in PA, 3-0 over New Zealand. USA beat Japan for bronze. Canada finished 5th. And NHL news, the Oilers have added Paul McFarland as assistant coach. He was the head coach with the Calgary Hitmen last season. Peter Aubry, goaltending coach now, and Connor Allen is skills coach. Paul Coffey is going to return as a special advisor to ownership and hockey operations. Sounds like a made-up gig. And Dustin Schwartz was not offered a contract extension as a goaltender coach. That is for our friends at Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals, keeping you in hot and soft water. Call on Reliance. Hour 2 starts with Marquez McDaniels, Rider coach, and Ryan Pollock will be in studio. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
We are the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News. The Moose Jaw Police Service and the RCMP say they are currently conducting a police operation on Highway Number 1 between 9th Avenue Northwest and 32nd Avenue Northwest. Highway Number 1 is closed until further notice. Police are asking motorists to avoid the area until the police operation is concluded. Traffic is currently being rerouted. Police say the public will be notified once it has been completed. An air quality advisory is now in place for Regina, down south to the U.S. border and west to the Alberta border. Wildfire smoke that's been plaguing north and central Saskatchewan today is expected to drift into our area tonight and could stick around until tomorrow. As smoke levels rise, so does the health risk. People are advised to limit time outdoors and think about changing plans for outdoor sports or activities. Some may feel mild symptoms like eye irritation, headaches, or a cough. Those with health conditions, seniors, and young children should take extra care and stay indoors as much as possible. The government of Saskatchewan and SGI are putting nearly $1.54 million into new road safety projects through the Provincial Traffic Safety Fund. 62 projects will be funded in 61 communities, including crosswalks, pedestrian signs, and streetlights. Grants range from $853 to $100,000 and focus on cutting down speeding, impaired driving, and other risks. Applications for the next round are open until September 30th. A full list of funded programs is on the SGI website. People in Moose Jaw who haven't yet booked their smart water meter installation are being urged to act quickly. The city warns that failure to schedule an appointment within a week of receiving a letter or door hanger could lead to penalties, including possible water service disconnection. The smart water meter project, approved in 2020, aims to upgrade over 12,000 meters across the city. Bookings can be made online or by phone. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will slap Russia with steep tariffs unless a peace deal with Ukraine is reached within 50 days. Trump also announced that America's allies will begin buying U.S. military equipment to be transferred to Ukraine for its fight against Russia's invasion.
We've made a deal today where we are going to be sending them weapons and they're going to be paying for them. The United States, will not be having any payment made. We're not buying it, but we will manufacture it and they're going to be paying for it.
Included in the plan are Patriot air defense systems for Ukraine to fend off Russian drones and missiles. And a new report says obesity rates in Canada increased faster during the COVID-19 pandemic than over the course of more than a decade beforehand, particularly among young adults.
Researchers saw an increase of about 8% over the first 11 years of the study to 2020, and then a rise of just over 1 percentage point a year between 2020 and 23. Laura Anderson, the study's author from Hamilton's McMaster University, says the findings suggest public health restrictions during the pandemic may have had an impact on obesity rates. Dr. Melanie Henderson with the CHU St. Justine says the closure of gyms, workplaces, schools, and extracurricular programs led to an absence of structure, along with extra screen time and closer proximity to the fridge. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
That is your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Your lottery ticket answers the call that dispatches the crew that's airborne within minutes. Your lottery ticket fuels the aircraft that's equipped with a flying intensive care unit. Your lottery ticket is a little girl's lifeline when a swing set collapses. Stars Lottery. Your ticket fuels our mission to provide critical care anywhere. It's the final week to win the truck and trailer early bird prize package. 40 years, one mission. Get your tickets today at starslottery.ca. License LR 2500008, Saskatchewan only. 18 plus. Please play responsibly.
Hear that? That's the sound of lost revenue. Hi, I'm Terry from Zipperlock Building Company. At Zipperlock, our buildings don't have any bolts, so you don't have to worry about water leaking and spoiling your fertilizer or grain. Plus, your valuable farm equipment will stay nice and dry. We promise that you'll get the Zipperlock building that suits your needs, with no bolts, no leaks, no BS. Zipperlock Building Company, built in hours to last a lifetime. See us in Raymore or call 1-888-692-5515.
Weather brought to you by Line X Regina, serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Weather tonight, showers in the area, then diminishing a little later on, low down to 11. Tomorrow, cloud mixing with partial sun at times, and a high up to 19 degrees. Tomorrow night, clearing and a low down to 10. Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny, and a high of 20. And looking at Thursday, partly sunny skies and a high of 21.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
This summer, downtown Saskatoon is going farm fresh at Hudson's Ultimate Summer Street Festival, Hudson's Saskatoon Block Party. We're talking live music, ice-cold drinks, and 2,000 party-ready guests, all ready to pay tribute to the heart of Saskatchewan, our hard-working farming community. Rock out with headliners Brett Kissel on Wednesday and Shawnee Kish on Thursday. This is your invite to the ultimate farm-fueled bash, Hudson Saskatoon Block Party. Grab your tickets now at saskatoonblockparty.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, 35 years of experience, moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more about your livestock operation. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of the show. Ryan Pollock now with me. I tracked him down, able to come in for the next 2 hours. We are going to have the coaches show with Markway McDaniel in a moment here. RP coming in. You used to work for the Riders. You joked when you sat down. You said, I'm glad we didn't do this show on Sunday. You were fired up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a newsworthy weekend for sure. And I was part of the crowd that was there Friday and not feeling really great about things, and had the opportunity to go back to the game on Saturday and left the stadium not really feeling too good about things, but cooler heads prevailed, and I'm sure we'll talk it through. But tough weekend all around for the club. There's no doubt.
I'm really interested to get your take on it as a former employee and just the logistical nightmare in the background.
Yeah, no doubt.
We'll get to that in a bit, but don't keep them waiting. We have the coach on the line. It's time for the coaches show.
It's time for the Sports Cage Riders Coaches Show for the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation. Get your 50-50 tickets now for all Rider home and away games. Riders5050.ca and Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians. .620.
There we go. Good back. Coach McDaniel, thanks for making some time on this Monday. I know you guys were in meetings. It's a busy day. First off, the smoke delay and what we went through. Your football career, you've ever experienced anything quite like that?
Never like that. There was one year, I want to say it was maybe 2015 or 16. It was like 2 or 3 games. We go out for warm-ups, bright and sunny. Then you go back in and it's just crazy hailstorms in Calgary. But that was only maybe 30 minutes to an hour, but nothing like Friday night. And we did, we had a delay in the preseason, but we were hoping to play, but it just didn't work out.
I think a lot of people were shocked, and it was, the joke around was like, hey, we're going to see midnight football. Like, this is actually going to be pretty cool. You going back, as a player, you were a player, and then now you're watching the players and you're coaching. What would have been the most difficult thing if it would have went Friday night, do you think? Because I was talking to Wes Cates earlier, a guy close to 40 is a lot different than a guy close to 20 having to warm up and all that jazz, right?
Right. Yeah, I would just say, because you're eating everything before the game, so I don't know how much food you have as a backup. I would say that would be probably the hardest thing for me, making sure I got enough food to play, a whole 3-hour game. But just the time difference, right? You're usually going to bed around 11 at the latest maybe as a player. So now you in the first quarter at 11 o'clock. So I think that would be the hardest. But, just finding that fuel for the whole game would probably been tough.
Joe Robustelli, a bit of a coming out party, had a heck of a game. Harris found him. Obviously, we've been talking about that a lot. What has he worked on with you, with the team, to get this opportunity where he is now?
Yeah, well, last year, I don't know if you remember him, but he came in probably 3 games before our second preseason game. So we threw him out there. He had a big catch in his first preseason game last year, but you could just see it in practice. Guys know, and we preach all the time. He was on the practice squad last year, played at the end of the year, but hey, we preach you got to be ready when your number's called. And he put in a lot of work last year in the off season, and he came back hungry this year. He's been waiting for his opportunity, and he's been playing good, taking advantage, and it was good. We finally took advantage of his speed, because that's where his game. That's his game. His game is down the field. He can make catches with his hands, tracks the ball well. You got a chance to yak it up too, but he's fast. Like he can run.
Yeah, building off that, Marquay, if you'd have told me a month ago that we'd be sitting here talking about your receivers group, I'd be asking you about Sean Bain Jr. and Sam Emelis and Kean Schaefer-Baker, but none of those guys have been available to you. Maybe talk about the depth of this group and the work they've been putting in to stay as a competitive bunch.
Yeah, top to bottom, even last year. Talented group. I tell these guys all the time, top to bottom, probably one of the most talented groups I've been around, probably more talented than ones I've been a part of, especially when you got guys like Kean Schaefer-Baker and Samuel Emlis, who are Canadians, but, they're to me some of the top guys in the league, not just because they play there, because what I see them do, right? Sam started off hot, got hurt, but you see the guys, you just see the depth we have, right? 2 guys go down, 2 starters, and then we put guys in there, and we don't miss a beat. Then we had played 5 games, had a leading receiver 4 out of those 5 games, right? Different guys. So guys are ready. They know the offense, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity. That's just something we preach ever since we got here since last year. It's pro football. Guys are going to go down. Got to be ready to go and take advantage of that opportunity.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you touched on those Canadians. I wanted to ask you about Mitch Picton. He's a guy that's really come on. Took a little bit of time as a younger guy, like many guys do, to kind of establish himself. But he's really come on as a Swiss Army knife type player for you, a guy that feels like he can move around the field a little bit. He's a reliable guy, and he's become a strong asset, especially filling a Canadian role there as well. But he's established himself as a reliable receiver.
Yeah, definitely. Mitch is just smart, right? He knows every spot in the offense. Like I said, it's something we preach, but he actually knows every spot and doesn't need reps in practice to just move to a different spot. That's what makes him, so good for us. A guy goes down here, you can plug him in. He knows what he's doing, right? He's going to catch everything. You saw in the Toronto game, ball goes up, makes tough catches, right? So Mitch has been solid for us, knows everything, and like I said, just been real good for us when someone goes down.
Now you've had a chance to watch some tape, I'm sure. It's been a couple days. What did the Stamps do well against you? What did they take away?
I think they just came out with more energy than us all the way around. First half, first play, we get a turnover from the defense, and then we miss a block on offense. So it was one of those games where it was like something on every play. But I thought we fought hard in the second half. We actually moved the ball, just couldn't capitalize in the green zone like we wanted to. But 400 yards is something to build on. But we know, we got to be sharper, on the details. And like I said, you got to come out ready to play. You can see, you watch that tape. They came out ready to play this game, and I thought. We were kind of slow starting, and by the time we picked it up in the second half, they made some plays in the second half too, and just never let that lead go.
Can you give us a sense, and the listeners a sense, like for you as the receiver coach, like what would you be coaching in a game like that, where the offense is kind of sputtering a bit, trying to grind it out? Like what would you be coaching on the sideline? I'm sure you're talking with Mueller, you're talking with your guys. Give us a sense.
Yeah, it's just taking care of the details. Really, that's what it comes down to. like I said, it's one of those games where it's somebody every play, so you just don't want to be that guy where it's like, okay, this play didn't work because I didn't do my job, or I didn't get up to my guy. Like, so that's what it was early. We didn't get up to who we were supposed to get to. Now we're in 2nd and long, right? So now they can just sit back, make us throw short, come tackle. Now we're 2 and out, right? So take care of your job on first down. Let's get some positive yards on first down. So now we're in 2nd, medium, 2nd and short. Now the playbook's wide open. So just do your job, take care of your job. And, the physical aspect, we was there, but just take care of your job every play and don't be like, oh, my bad.
Yeah. Riders receiver coach Marquay McDaniel is joining us here on the Coaches Show. You played a long time in the league as well. You're protecting the ball after a catch, right? I'm always... It's something where you kind of get the guys are trying to get extra yards. They're trying to make things happen. How do you coach that, and what do you say?
You just got to be smart. To me, as a coach and as a player, you never want to turn back into the defense, right? Like, I'm going to pick one guy and try to run him over at the worst and, have good ball security, have the ball in my outside arm. So if he does make a good play, at least the ball goes out of bounds. But cover it up with 2 hands, try to pick one, but we had 2 fumbles this year, turning back into the defense, getting hit by multiple guys. So they see it, and it's weird because we didn't do it at all last year. So, hey, it's like, don't try to do too much. You already got the first down. We're already in good field position. Hey, 2nd and 1, we bring in Tommy. We're probably going to get the first down anyway. So just pick a guy, just go forward, and now we still got the ball. We're already in good field position. Even if the drive stumbles, hey, we'll kick it, we'll pin them down and let the defense get on the field.
Yeah, tough balance. Guys are competitors and trying to fight for that extra yard, and in their mind, they're convinced if I can break one tackle, maybe I break free. But it's a tough balancing act there. Looking ahead, another big game this week, like they all are in the CFL. There's no weeks off, but looking ahead, how much time do you spend looking back to Friday night or Saturday afternoon's game, and before just turning the page and getting set for what's another strong opponent?
Yeah, after any game, win or loss, you go over the corrections, you go over the film with the players, and it's on to the next team. So I hope I see that hunger come out more just in practice. And we've been practicing pretty good, but teams might get comfortable at 4-0, really. So I think we got a good wake-up call is you got to come to play every week. And we know in the West or in the CFL in general, records don't even matter. They could have been 2-3, 1-5, whatever. They're going to come to play. You got to come to play in the CFL. So I want to see how this team responds to a little adversity and just see, hey, we got to go in, play one. We got to be ready to go and kind of hopefully let that play out through the whole game because BC's hot, right? They're coming off 2 wins. They're feeling good. They're going back home. Tough place to play in. We're hearing, they're getting a nice little crowd in there, and that's what you want, especially a West matchup. Someone else's house coming off a loss. All right, let's see what we're made of.
We got it. We got to give a shout out to Sean Mims. First catch, big catch. Right, on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. As a coach, obviously special to see a young guy get that.
That first one, especially, yeah, for sure. He was a guy that came in last year, and you can see he had some talent, and then we sent him back to school. And then coming back this year, you can see that confidence in him. I could see that, he didn't feel out of place or he felt like he belonged in the CFL, which was good to see. He's just another smart guy, too, on our roster that knows multiple spots. So to see him get in there, I know he's been waiting to get in there, but to actually get in the game and make a catch, especially your first one, big first down that we needed was big for him confidence-wise. But he'll be fine. He's a worker. He's smart. And he's young, but he'll be fine for us.
Before we let you go, can you give us any kind of update on maybe some of the injuries this week into BC on the receivers, or can't give us much?
Can't give you too much. Okay. But like I said, for our group, who's ever in there, the expectation is hey, we're ready to go, and we're confident that we can get the job done with whoever's in there. So we'll see how it plays out.
You're doing an awesome job, like you said, man. What a group and a lot of Canadians there. It's pretty cool to see. Thanks for making some time today, Coach.
No problem.
Right on. Go Riders. That's receiver coach Markway McDaniel. Yeah, a lot of good Canadians. That Mims, when he caught that third down, that's a big play there. I was like, who is that? I'm like, that's Mims.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been an impressive group, and as I asked them there, like there's 3 guys that are on the injured list that would be stepping right into the roster. So It's an impressive thing to have these guys keep emerging. We talked about Dante Myers last year, comes on kind of around mid-season, let's just call it, and established himself. Now Roselli comes in. They just keep pushing guys out. It's been a group that's been very reliable. Duncan Busby, exactly. So and he mentioned for the 5 games or whatever it is, they have 4 different leading receivers, so they're spreading the ball around and guys are getting the job done. So full marks to Markway there for having his group ready week in and week out.
Yep. Thanks for Markway to join us on the Coaches Show. It's brought to you by Regina Steelcraft Doors, as well as the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50/50, where you buy your tickets before Thursday at 5 p.m. this week. You're in for the Labor Day package, the early bird prize. 2 tickets to the Labor Day Classic, sold out. 1-night hotel accommodations. And a parking pass, riders5050.ca. We'll take a quick break. It is the Sports Cage. We are streaming on YouTube through sportscage.com and always on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Doug had questions, he talked to Brian Golly.
What I see with Brian is he actually puts in the time and he spends his own money to go to conferences and get the latest up-to-date stuff, what's going on, and seems to have a passion for it.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone.
I would definitely recommend Brian because he's done well for us.
Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions, 306-546-2533.
This is where we play. This is where we live. Extreme Hockey and Sport is where we shop when we need the gear for our game in our town. Hockey is in our blood as much as the prairies themselves. Extreme Hockey and Sport understands this. That's why they provide the Saskatchewan Stars of tomorrow only the best. Every level, any budget, expert fit. They're your local sit and fit hockey shop. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, Regina's Hockey Shop.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50/50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
Since 1942, Unifor 594 has safely served the community and the ever-changing energy sector. We are the unionized workers at the Co-op Refinery in Regina and the Co-op Ethanol Complex in Belle Plaine. We are process operators, tradespeople, lab techs, warehouse workers, tank car loaders, administration staff, and so much more. Unifor 594 workers are also your neighbors, your friends, your volunteers, your community. Unifor 594. Safety is our business.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
The Queen City X has always been about more than rides and games. It's about the moments that last. When the lights come on, the music starts, and the memories come rushing back. This year, we're keeping it truly Canadian, with an all-Canadian midway and an all-Canadian lineup on the original 16 stage. From mini donuts to moonlit rides, it's the fair you grew up with. Ready to share again. July 30th to August 3rd. Tickets on sale now at queencityx.ca. Follow QCX on socials to stay connected.
The Gleaner S9 Series combines are designed for farmers in the business of farming. A harvest is successful when a crop is harvested as quickly and efficiently as possible and produces a clean grain sample with little loss. The Gleaner combine offers levels of harvesting performance and efficiency other combines are unable to achieve. Simply put, Gleaner combines save more and cost less. See the Gleaner S9 at Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nickservice.com. The Gleaner S9, built with the farmer in mind.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Clutch Performer time. To Sean Mims. Third down, big play, first catch, CFL. Gets the first down. That's mine. Right there. I got another one maybe coming up here, but Colson, you've been taking notes. You got a couple.
Yeah, so gotta turn my mic on. There we go. Pushing a lot of buttons and I'm tired from that double weekend. Anyways, two clutch performers today. Unclutch. The Pittsburgh Pirates. They lost yesterday, I think it was, a couple days ago. Their franchise record is 10,877. So they're at 500. The last time they were at 500 was 1903.
Oh, wow.
What? So they've been on a bit of a downfall. Wow. So unclutch to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
Clutch performer, Team Saskatchewan at the 2025 Football Canada Cup. Took on New Brunswick this morning. 42-zip. So good job, boys.
Take that. Take a seat, New Brunswick. 42-zip. Clutch performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. It could have a clutch. Could throw out a clutch performer to whoever invented auto-tune and background tracks for musicians. Last night, Def Leppard in the Valley. We sat there and looked around, and it's like Def Leppard is playing the Capella, playing Craven, Saskatchewan right now. Probably the last time a guy's going to be able to see him in around here. And they sounded great. And a lot of it is the auto-tune and the background backtrack. But who cares? Lie to me. I'm okay. It sounded great. They were good. They weren't lip syncing. It's just how it's done nowadays. Speaking of, 36 years ago, Milli Vanilli came out with Blame It on the Rain.
Today. Come on. Speaking of backtrack, yeah, exactly.
They were good.
Well, I don't know if they were good. The song was good, but
yeah, the one guy still tries to
make a go of it
under Milli Vanilli. But Def Leppard.
Hey, it's awesome. It's literally extended these careers by 25 years, if you will. And I'm with you. I wasn't there, but if I'm there, I'm just there to listen to the classic tunes and see them and be part of the atmosphere. And who cares? Who cares if it's the original pure voice or whatever you want to call it? Just go and enjoy the songs and everything that it's about. I think it's fantastic.
No, I'm totally fine with it. Being able to see a classic artist or band or whatever and do what you got to do.
Yep.
Lie to me, Jerry. Lie to me. It's a good. I want to go Bailey Zimmerman on Saturday night, and I know he's a hot young tour. He's huge in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, we're in Saskatchewan. Like we got a little over 1 million people.
Sure, we'll go with it. Yep.
500,000 are functional.
Yeah,
like some are kids, and we're small time. We're very small. He played 2 years ago at the 5 o'clock hour, and his energy was unbelievable. Like he was the up and comer, the Morgan Wall, the kind of the poor man's Morgan Wall, and coming up, he was so good. This time around, Saturday night, I don't know. This is my opinion on it. Flopped, laid an egg.
Yeah,
he was the one thing. You're getting paid for an hour and a half, probably 90 minutes set. He talked so much. Play some covers. Play a few cover songs, whatever. He talked, and then he got into the religious talk.
Oh boy.
Don't do it. You're not going to win that.
Not there.
You're not going to win. You're never going to. What's next? Abortion?
Right.
And politics? Why? What are you doing? Dude, you're getting paid to sing. Just sing, man.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't even know much about him, and I'm a essentially a country fan. I don't know much about him, and we were just talking about it yesterday, and a friend of mine quoted that he was there a couple years ago when he was the afternoon show, and his comment to me was maybe he was best as an afternoon guy. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. There's no doubt. But we were kind of going through the headliners the last few years, and I don't. He doesn't kind of fit when you start thinking Chris Stapleton and
it's hard. Last
Morgan
year,
Wallen and all those. It's tough, and it's a tough bill to fill. There's no doubt. But yeah, it's
you got Nickelback and Luke Combs last year.
Yeah.
Like, are you ever going to get any on Friday night? You could have had Brian Sklar. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're selling out.
No,
that weekend.
exactly, 100%. Yep.
No, it was, and then Friday because of the game, for sure.
Yeah.
There, like you could tell, there wasn't a lot of people out there. Maybe going to come out. I don't know. Jason Aldean, I thought was really good. Sarah Evans, she probably would want that one back. Breakfast Ball.
Yeah.
But there, you could tell that there was people that were at the game. Should we go out? We'll make it out for Jason Aldean. Well, that never happened.
Right.
It was more of it was a better possibility that we were going to be there, like I said, and then go back into the game. At midnight.
Yeah, it started to look that way, didn't it? And you know, I was pleasantly surprised. I took my family there Friday night, and on the walk up, I was a little bit questioning what the stadium would look like, anyways, just with Craven on. And you know, let's face it, it's not like the stadium's been overrun with attendance the last little while. So I was a little bit questioned, and you know, that it was probably a bit of a miss for the Riders, not their fault. It was a good crowd. Like, it looked decent, and they were engaged a little bit for a little while, trying to have some fun to it. So that might be one of the most disappointing sides of it, is it felt like it was going to be an amped up Friday night game, and with a crowd that would have been into a first place showdown.
I wonder if Mark Johnson and his co-partner, that would they have got paid extra, because that would have been a tough gig.
Sabine?
Trying to keep people engaged through all that. And
yeah, and that's part of why I was a little bit, had some opinions leaving the stadium too. Like, everything went on except the football game. So I sometimes challenge the
cheerleaders were out there.
They had the halftime guy sing 3 or 4 songs, whatever it was. The in-stadium shows going. Luke Wilson's running around doing pass, punt, and kick, and all those things are going, which, hey, I get it. Those aren't football players running up and down the field, but it just, to me, it was a little bit of a mixed message of either we can't be out there and go, then don't be out there and go. And that's how I left originally, but obviously their best intentions, they're trying to keep that group entertained, and while they're kicking the can down the road to see what happens here. But just a tough call no matter what. I get that.
Logistically, when you used to work for the Riders, I think it was when talking to Wes in hour one or Luke, and it dawned on me the next day when it's getting close to kickoff from going to the stadium, and I'm like, what, like all these. Yeah, Colson, to your point, a lot of them are union. So now this is going to hurt as far as cashola out, because you weren't expecting to pay this for sure, unless there's some sort of insurance policy. But the volunteers that would have had to come back, well, I can't come back. We're leaving. We're going to the lake. My kids got there. Blah blah blah. And then the security staff and all. You started to think, this affected a lot of people to spin this around for a Saturday afternoon twirl.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you could literally spend the next half hour just breaking down the amount of people or whatever that are impacted by it. We went as far as even parking. So there's events and the farmers market. It avoids the Rider game. It's Saturday morning. It avoids the Rider game. Now it's right in the middle of the mix. And events that are happening at the Cooperator Center. There was a Skate Canada event going on. Now it's right up against parking and all that against the Rider game. We mentioned it, the volunteers, and you plan your whole week around. I've got to work Friday night. I'm helping out the Rider game Friday, and we're going to the lake. We're spending time with the family. We're doing this on Saturday, and all that is in question. And then you get asked that, whatever time, 10 p.m., 10:30, to say, hey, can you come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. and help us get going again for the 2 o'clock start? And then, the concessions, and people were enjoying themselves in the stadium. I saw lots of food and drink going out. Well, guess what? There's no time in the day to get orders back in and get prepared. And, there was lots of concession. Not lots. There was some concessions closed on Saturday and some drink spots were closed. But
could you bring your own food in Saturday?
You bring your own food in. Yeah, you could bring your own food.
Did you roll in there with the slow cooker?
Yeah, I was actually a little bit disappointed in myself. We pushed the envelope, we thought, with some chips for the kids and some snacks, some candies, and then I saw a guy rolling in with a full pizza, a sub.
Yeah.
I'm like, this would have been the ultimate test. Like, why wouldn't we bring it in full wheels and wings and you name it, right? And
but the farmers market, that's a slippery slope.
Oh yeah.
If you walk through that farmers market going into the game where you're allowed to bring whatever. If I go with my wife, we're walking into that game with like six loaves of bread, Duke-a-Boar bread or whatever they sell. Then you got probably some fresh produce.
Oh yeah.
Beer sticks, auto.
Yeah. Yeah, you for sure. You're coming in with a whole bunch of jerky and a pound of beets to take home, right? Like,
and then you forget something.
Yeah, for sure.
Who didn't bring the beets? Oh, no.
I get him credit. I give the club credit for recognizing that. I think it would have been an easy thing for them to kind of just be like, oh, wow, we're going to have some concessions closed. But for them to get the message out and, and encourage people essentially to bring their own snacks. And it wasn't like that all. There was lots of concessions, lots of options. The area we sat, we dropped enough money on some nachos and stadium cheese and things like that. So it was great for them to reach out though and offer that.
Benny from Winnipeg on the Prairieland Rentals text line is glanced over, and you are correct because I knew this was going to come up. Barney, you're forgetting about how many beers were probably sold in the 4 hours. 10 beers would cover the payroll of one person, I'm sure of it, which is they double dipped cash wise on some of it. The concession.
I get the sentiment, but those beers did not pay for.
No,
we don't need to break down how the finances work and costs, but I get it for sure. There was lots of traffic, and I mean the people that were in there were enjoying themselves. I saw very few people just sitting in the stands waiting, on what was hopefully a game. It was lots of movement in the stadium. Concourses were lively, and concessions were buzzing throughout. So
people walk getting their paces in, getting their steps in.
Lots of steps. Lots of steps in for sure. So
we had a message earlier, and you know this because you worked with the team. I'm not going to say the name, but it was laid out to me very clear when they were building the stadium, and a lot of people were like, "We're going to put a roof on it, put a roof on it," and then it was broken down to me in hard finances. The city would be broke.
Yeah,
they would have thrown a roof on. And Colson brings up a point. It's like, we get the most extreme weather in the world besides what Siberia, I think it is. So trying to heat that thing and trying to cool it down by 10 degrees would be so much money.
Yeah, I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but I think an easy summary of it would be the roof structure alone was more than the total cost of the stadium. And that's how it was always presented. And if we even entertained that for real, it would be more than the actual cost of the stadium. And you're bang on. I remember being at the 2014 Grey Cup working for the CFL in Vancouver. Keep in mind, this is Vancouver.
Yeah.
And the BC Place Stadium was cool all week. It was really cold at practice and, working throughout there. And I always wondered, why is it so cold in here? Well, they only heat it on game day because of the cost. And it was like in the tens of thousands of dollars to just heat it. And we're talking, I remember walking around with jeans and a hoodie, the Saskatchewan attire all week. And so call it 8 degrees in November out there, 8, 10, 12 degrees. And it was costing tens of thousands of dollars to heat that stadium. Well, let's do that now and minus 30 because the belief is we put a roof on it and all of a sudden we're going to have all these year-round trade shows and year-round concerts and it doesn't work like that.
When it's minus 35, minus 40 and you drive by a hospital, you just see the smoke or, the steam and everything. Imagine if that place had to be kept warm.
For sure.
No.
And hey, I'm just one guy. This is my own opinion, but if we always go to those cold spots, my opinion is I wouldn't enjoy summer games as much. I like being outside. I like the night games, nice summer night game under the lights, part of me, that's as much fabric to me as anything. So that would be hard to be able to go indoors on a day that's 28 degrees and I'm going to go sit inside for 4 hours.
We're the same demographic. DA and I are driving Saturday back out to Country Thunder after the game. And I'm talking, and it's like, well, we've brought it up on here, and it's no secret where it's just so convenient to watch any sporting event on TV nowadays.
Yep.
Like, it's just watch it at home and have your own, all that. But then you think about in 2025, Ryan, and we go back to early 2000s, right, where we're all grinding. Mm-hmm. We're probably renting. Maybe you're getting into your first mortgage, close and all that. Now people are demographic, whether they're extended and whatever, a lot of them have cottages. Then the cottage comes the $200,000 boat. Mm-hmm. And we get a handful of days in this province to go and enjoy that. They're at the lake. Where you rewind it 20 years ago, it was like everything dropped for a Rider game. Nope, we're going to a Rider game. Nope, we're not going. And you didn't have maybe someone's dad or parents had a cottage.
Yep.
Now it's people our age. They have cottages. They have boats. They're gone.
Yeah, and you even just look like we were lucky that we didn't have a cottage, but we had family that lived out in the Calling Lakes region around Fort Qu'Appelle, and so I spent a ton of time out there as a kid. And now my parents live out there. So when you go out there, areas that used to have 5, 6, 10 cabins around them now are completely full. So it just tells you how that growth and migration is. And I mean, I agree with you. Now you can throw the TV on the deck, right? And you're sitting around the yard and the big screen TV's hooked up to...
You can watch it on your boat.
Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of those options that those are what sports teams are fighting everywhere, and why it just becomes more and more and more important to have that in-stadium experience be so... entertaining and valuable and things you can only be a part of in stadium.
Your comments are always welcome. And the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street, where you get to deal with the owner, 936-6262. It is a Sports Cage. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
Hey, let's hit up Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Pump? You talking about my basketball shoes?
No, Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Who?
Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. They're open now. They've got a large selection of local draft and food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. There's live entertainment every weekend.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Employee pricing is back at Capital GMC in Regina.
Capital GMC!
What does it all mean?
You pay what we pay.
And it means savings up to $12,000 on new Sierra 1500s and savings up to $20,000 on new HDs. Or take advantage of 0% financing on select models. Or check out our certified pre-owned inventory. They all come with 30-day exchange privilege, manufacturer's warranty, and more.
Do not miss employee pricing.
At Capital GMC in Regina.
It's the start of a new year. Time to get financially fit. If you're looking to open an RRSP or a TFSA, maximize an existing account, or update your investment mix, Cooperators can provide the personalized advice and service you need. Want to start the new year on the right financial foot? Contact your local advisor to build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
When it comes to your combine, efficiency is key. Why settle for average? The Redicott Mavstraw Chopper is designed with precision engineering and fits all major combine brands. Redicop Mav Straw choppers provide a sharper cut and a uniform spread of your residue up to 60 feet wide. Upgrade your combine with a Redicop Mav Straw chopper today. Contact Redicop or your local parts dealer to start planning your best harvest yet. Redicop, helping farmers produce more with less. Online at redicopmfg.com.
Howdy, Wood Country Woody again. You know, you and me ain't so different. We both love to sit on a sunny deck with a cool beverage instead of sanding the thing all the time. And when I heard TimberTech composite decking material is super low maintenance, well, that sold me right there. They didn't even need to mention that it features a sweet little hidden fastener system or that they also have the treated lumber that goes underneath. It's easy, it's pretty, it's TimberTech from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale, wood-country.com.
Don't miss a minute of Sportscage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Well, I was going to get into some of those clips. So, listen, we are on the text line and the YouTube line. Texts are coming in. I'll go to this one on YouTube from Shy. What is wrong with putting a retractable roof on? Well, there's nothing wrong with it. We would be very broke then.
Great idea. Also texted that on the text line.
That is a retractable roof. If you just search in AI, anywhere from $100 to $800 million. Like it
taxpayers.
You need. I don't even know. And then you got to heat it, then you got to cool it, and can't do it.
Our luck around here to get stuck halfway, right? Grind it on some ice we didn't see or something, and then it's halfway open for the...
Our elements too, the wind, the cold, the heat. It's no wonder our roads can't compete. It's like everyone's always complaining about our roads. It's like I wouldn't want to be an engineer, and send me to Phoenix. It's just hot.
Yeah. So when I never built the stadium. when the Mosaic Stadium was being built, you know, we looked at a lot of things about retractable roofs, enclosed stadiums. Like do some digging around on where these things actually exist. Like Kansas City in the NFL has, somewhat similar type weather that we would have. They have an open air stadium because of those things, right? Like when you look at where the domes are, they're in pretty stable climates. A lot of them have to do with heat, but they're in stable climates, and that's a huge reason why is because of those functioning costs and operating costs that it takes to have an enclosed stadium.
What do we got for clips, Colson? Ready? Let's go to Coach Mace after the game, and I think clip one he calls it like it is.
Yeah, man, it was that was a tough one to stomach. I thought offensively, I thought we couldn't get things rolling early. Even after I think defensively we had a couple turnovers, but some of them was. Really just saving our drive defensively. They were able to move the ball at ease, I thought, against our defense, which was obviously not the game plan. And then we just struggled, like I said, to move it offensively. And I thought till the late or into the second half, it just wasn't complimentary football. When we make a play on defense, we couldn't capitalize on offense. And then, we go down, go up to go behind by 7, and then literally the next play, they bang us for an explosion play and a touchdown defensively. So just non-complimentary football, man. And it was those are tough to stomach, but I mean, that's what it was. So we got to find ways to fix that.
It was funny, right? Because you watch the beginning of that game and it's like the pick, the first play pick. It's like, aha, see, Calgary isn't that good. And then they bobble that fumble.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first little bit there, they look awful. We didn't capitalize, but there was that. Did you get the feeling if you weren't looking at the score or listening to the score, you'd go like, man, we're up like 14-0. Like, we're owning these guys.
Yeah, for the first couple of drives. And then by the end of the first quarter, I felt like, ooh, the Riders got out of here maybe a little bit fortunate by the way it swung. But you're right. VA was kind of throws that lobber over the middle on the first play of the game that gets picked off. And but he was hot from there on.
He had that quick little like pump fake. And they're playing a zone, and then he's looking off. Well, then somebody else is open, and he did it methodically, which we've seen other quarterbacks do against the Rough Riders zone, and that happens in a zone defense. It's just a matter of how you're going to mix it up. And then Luke said they didn't get the pressure on him, which is easier said than done. Because then when you're going to start throwing an all out blitz, and then the way things were going from our. They would have out-jumped us. Alfred from them.
Oh, is he a machine? He's an absolute beast.
And I talked about it on Friday, 6'6" or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Jock Wilson was and I were talking. I'm like, he is so tall. Just throw it up to him. And then it was like the first play to him, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
This is a matchup not good. But you talk about the zone there, but the strength of the Riders when they play in that is they're aggressive. Right, so when they read that quarterback, and he makes his look, our guys are jumping, and that's where that front pressure really can help out. Is without getting that quarterback enough time to get to that secondary look and hit that next guy. But that was a tough matchup with Alfred there. How about his deep ball though? He catches it, kind of spinning around and gets his feet and absolutely takes off in open field. You normally don't see guys of that size be able to run like that, but man, he really takes off once he catches that.
Antoine Brooks Jr. wants that one back. There's no doubt about it. It was their first touchdown, I think, where they fake the wide receiver hitch, and then just to hesitate for a second, and then they run the two verticals, being perfection.
Yeah, then you're taking your choice downfield. Who
and we've done that.
Yep.
It was just that they were dialed.
Yep.
They were definitely, and we got pushed. We got bullied on the lines. 9 yards for AJ Ouellette. I joked about this in hour one. You place a bet, AJ Ouellette, not that this would have been a prop that you could have bet on. If you would have placed a AJ Ouellette under 10 yards in the game, they would have thought you're going to the crazy house.
You'd think that it was a misprint.
Yeah, exactly. If you landed from Mars today and you looked at the stats, well, you would think, well, this is a shootout. Look at Harris's yard. Like, this was a close game. And then you would look at the Kadeem Carey and AJ Ouellette runs and go, well, somebody screwed this up.
Yeah, I'm curious to get Darien Durant's take here coming up too, because I woke up Saturday asking, how does Calgary have a chance in this game? When you learn about all the logistics they had to fight through and the delay of the game and finding hotel rooms and what meal would have they even arranged to eat. I've done that. It's not fun trying to find hotels and just when under normal conditions.
Spiro and Mike, can you stay and work till 3 a.m. at Western Pizza?
I've said that it takes upwards of 5 calls or emails to make sure that a meal is arranged correctly when you're dealing with 75 people, right? So to think that you're doing this at 11 o'clock at night, oh yeah, thanks for the rooms. And by the way, any chance you can get a really good meal thrown together for 75 of us at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? So I just couldn't for the life of me see how they would come out and compete the way they competed. And
you're not just going down and grabbing some ramen noodles.
No, exactly.
The little gift shop or whatever. The text messages, we got to go to break, but Benny in Winnipeg, Benny needs some financial. We got to break down some numbers here for Benny on the roof. He thinks it's that easy to just throw a roof on. It is the Sports Cage. We are streaming at sportscage.com through our YouTube channel and on the mighty 620 CKRM.
Join Saskatchewan today at Ag in Motion near Langham, July 15th to 17th. Ryan Young and Doug Faulkner will bring you the very latest in the ag industry live from the show. Watch the stream and all of our latest content at saskagtoday.com. That's Ag in Motion, July 15th to 17th near Langham. Sponsored by Kloss, Western Ag Professional Agronomy, and Thunderstruck Ag.
Look over here, apples. Now look over here, oranges. Let's compare them.
Hey, you can't compare apples and oranges. What you can compare is Freeze Tallman's pricing on decking, railing, and fencing to all the big box stores. If you need a decking, railing, or fencing job this season and want to shop local, then Freeze Tallman in Regina and Fort Capel is exactly what you're looking for. Heck, they even deliver. There's no comparison.
Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
If you're going to upgrade to a new combine, don't take half measures. Go all the way with this limited time offer on the Kloss Lexion 8600 Combine and the Combio Flex Draper Header. Now through July 31st, get 3.45% financing for 24 months when you purchase both together. An unbeatable deal that delivers big savings, legendary Kloss performance, and lower cost of ownership. But hurry, inventory is limited. Contact your Kloss dealer or visit ClossSavings.ca. That's CLAAS Savings.ca. Offer valid in Canada only.
If you want to optimize yields and profits, you need the power of PRS technology from Western Ag. An accurate measure of the soil's power to release nutrients, a customized crop plan, a complete understanding of the best crop options for your fields, and a network of professional agronomy consultants. That is the power of PRS technology from Western Ag, helping you grow more profit.
See them at Ag in Motion in Saskatoon, July 15th to 17th. GrowMoreProfit.com.
Unlike the country song Kick the Dust Up, Milligan Bio knows for those of you that are construction site managers, farmers, golf course and park managers, or rural homeowners, it's all about keeping the dust down, inspiring their environmentally friendly road dust suppressant. Safe and easy to use, Milligan Bio's road dust suppressant controls the dust, coats the surface, and reduces grading and maintenance needs. To book application, call 306-272-6284.
There's nothing to make or eat at home for supper tonight, and I'm starving. What's in the fridge? That old casserole from last month? Mac and cheese? No, I had that for breakfast. What about the pantry? That canned fish stuff? Ugh, this is no way to live. Wait, I'll order Western Pizza. That is a way to live.
Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or takeout. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
The Moose Mountain Pro Rodeo in Kennedy is July 19th and 20th. Gloria Evans will be on location Saturday. Parade at 3, rodeo at 6, followed by DJ Dale in the Beer Gardens at 9. Sunday pancake breakfast at 9. Trick riders and wild ponies after the rodeo. And take in the Sukin and Ship Pioneer Village and Museum Family Day, Sunday, July 20th from 10 to 4, featuring a snowplane display, rides on a tractor, horse rides, rope making, and much more. 13 kilometers south of Moose Jaw on Highway 2.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. It's time for the Sports Ticker.
Ticker tonight, if you're going to go watch baseball at Curry Field, it's been postponed. Red Sox and Swift Current will do a double dip July 26th instead. Moose Jaw's in Medicine Hat. Saskatoon is in Weyburn, from what we know. No Blue Jay game today. It's the All-Star break. It's the Home Run Derby tonight. Fastball news, Venezuela won the World Cup 3-0 over New Zealand up in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. USA beat Japan for bronze. Canada finished 5th there. And then some hockey news. The Oilers have added Paul McFarland as an assistant coach. He was the HC with Calgary's WHL team last year. Peter Aubrey will be the goaltending coach. Dustin Schwartz was not offered a contract extension. And Paul Coffey is going to return to his role as special advisor to ownership and hockey operations. And one signing, the Riders today signed offensive lineman Darien Durant 41st overall pick from the BC Lions, so he's in the fold. That is for Extreme Hockey and Sport, where right now they have the Bauer Flylight gear in stock, skates, sticks, everything else. If you want to go test it in the shooting lab, go ahead. Extreme Hockey and Sport, the local hockey shop in Regina. That is it for Hour 2. Hour 3 will start with Darien Durant. RP is going to stick around. We're going to get to more of this roof talk. Lay down some numbers for people. It is a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. For Echo Sound in Fort Capel, stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Smoke from wildfires could move into the region tonight and last into tomorrow, as an air quality advisory is in place now for the area. Health experts say as the smoke thickens, it can cause eye, nose, and throat irritation or mild coughing. Seniors, young children, pregnant people, and those with health problems should avoid heavy outdoor activity. Keep windows and doors shut to help keep indoor air clean and safe. The advisory stretches from Regina down to the U.S. border and west to the Alberta border. And with dozens of wildfires currently active in the province, fires are creating havoc in Saskatchewan, with smoke and reduced visibility prompting Parks Canada to issue a wildfire emergency alert for Prince Albert National Park. There are 55 wildfires active in the province, with 12 not contained and 9 evacuations. Meanwhile, more than 12,000 residents in Manitoba have been forced to leave their homes in the second wave of wildfire evacuations this summer. Christine Stevens with Manitoba's Emergency Management Organization says more room is being readied at the Convention Centre in Winnipeg.
We do have additional sites that have been stood up and are on standby should they be required.
The Canadian Armed Forces has flown more than 1,000 evacuees from the northern community of Garden Hill First Nation to Winnipeg. Police are investigating a deadly ATV crash in Odessa that happened on Friday night. Indian Head RCMP say they were called around 7 p.m. about an ATV rollover on 3 Street East. Emergency crews and Stars Air Ambulance attended, but the 23-year-old man from Fenwood was pronounced dead by paramedics. His family has been notified. Officers are still looking into what led to the rollover. More information may come as the investigation continues. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Prime Minister Mark Carney's ethics screens don't go far enough. Carney put his assets into a blind trust when he became Prime Minister in March and set up screens that would stop him from weighing in on decisions that could affect his personal wealth. But Poilievre says the Prime Minister knew what he owned before the assets were placed in a trust, and he claims that opens up a loophole.
We're calling on the Prime Minister to sell his investments, turn them into cash, hand them to a trustee who can invest them in a way that is completely blind to him, so that he does not have any knowledge of what he owns. That is the spirit of a blind trust.
A spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office says Carney has worked with the Ethics Commissioner to exceed existing ethics law requirements. And an Australian man has been charged after a kilt-wearing attacker smashed the glass case holding Scotland's ancient Stone of Destiny. The 150-kilogram sandstone block is also known as the Stone of Scone. It was used in the crowning ceremonies of medieval Scottish monarchs and continues to be used in coronations of the current monarch. The Scottish Museum, where the stone is displayed, says the stone wasn't damaged in the incident. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Your weather is next.
Let's get out on the water. Now is the best time of year to buy a boat or pontoon at Kevin's Marine. Cast a line in a Lund fishing boat. Take the family out on a Four Winds boat. Or head out on a pontoon by Harris or Crest. Powered by Mercury Motors at the lowest prices of the year. There are manufacturer's rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing on a great selection of boats and pontoons. Plus Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. Enjoy your summer. Get out on the water. Stop by or shop online at kevinsmarine.com.
Way to go, Travis Kelce. I mean, son.
As fun as it is watching your 5-year-old run the wrong way or pick dandelions on the football field, what if I told you you could watch your favorite sports or shows on the go anywhere? Well, you can with MaxStream TV from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Take MaxStream anywhere you go.
Oh, wrong way, buddy.
MaxStream and great internet plans available at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel, echosound.ca.
Weather brought to you by Line X Regina, Serious Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street. And Croft Electric, 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. croftelectric.com, and you can find them on all socials.
Some showers continue to roll across the region, but mostly light showers, and as the night goes on, the showers come to an end. Temperature falls off to around 11. Not a whole lot of measurable rainfall through the night. Could be a few more showers and sprinkles, equally unimpressive during the morning and midday on Tuesday. Cloud cover mixes partial sunshine, though, through the afternoon. Temperature may not get out of the teens, looking for a high at 19 through the day. We do clear out the rest of the way after some breaks of sun in the afternoon Tuesday. It's a clearing sky for Tuesday night with a low of 10. And Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny, though a little cloudiness does mix back in late day, bringing in the chance of a passing shower toward evening. We're looking at about a 20% chance for significant rain both Tuesday and Wednesday, so the chance is there, but mostly dry days. 20 on Wednesday, 21 on Thursday with a partly sunny sky, and a couple of spotty rain showers on Friday, looking again light with a high near 20. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Phil Spivak.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, 35 years of experience, moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more about your livestock operation. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back, Hour 3, The Sports Cage for Kellen Solar. On Mondays, when you think solar, think of Kellen Solars. In Lumsden, Saskatchewan, RP is with me. We're waiting for Darien Durant in our weekly segment here for Campbell Safety Consulting. Kind of opened up a can of worms with this roof talk, and why isn't there a roof on Mosaic Stadium? And very bluntly, it's because the city would be broke trying to heat it or cool it. Then the retractable thing comes into play, where you're looking at about 800 schmil up to. Benny from Winnipeg. Dun, 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 dun. He basically, Benny, you should just call in. There's a lot of text to read here, boss. It's he's basically saying, what about the Fargo Dome? So we did some quick research. The Fargo Dome was built in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1992, the world was a different place.
Yeah.
You buy Apple stock if you can go back to 1992 or Amazon. But anyway, you can't compare the two.
19,000 capacity. So not small, to its credit, not small, but...
And they were going to do the inflatable dome there, but when they were building it, they said, no, we'll just do a permanent structure. So it kept the name Fargo Dome. So, and what was it, Colson, you had the numbers of what... $48 million it was built for in 1992. Keep in mind, a roof, so a retractable roof is anywhere from 100 to 800 million. So let's call it 400 million for a retractable roof on Mosaic. Mosaic cost $273 million.
I think it was 273 was the 48 total tally.
48 million. There are people building houses in Whitefish, Montana for that much right now. You can't compare. Just can't. And then we don't have the money to heat it and cool it. And then to your point, don't even get into the cross-border stuff, how they do things down there to how we do it.
How their state funding and sport funding and all that. It's not even accurate to compare when you start talking costs and how taxes are applied and all that stuff.
Yeah. Keep in mind, we got to pay for a lot of things that they don't. Not many municipalities, but still, it all trickles down. There's always tax going somewhere. So 936-6262, if you want to join the Prairie Land Rentals text line, comments are always welcome. We love it. Georgie Porgy, I see you sent something, but we don't know what that is. Eli, haven't heard from you in a while. Vernon Adams has figured out the game. He's a top-notch QB now. Calgary has a winner at QB. The West will be tough. I agree with the West will be tough.
Yes.
But, okay, will that game translate to the cold and the fall? That's going to be a good watch. But thanks, Eli. I like it. I like what you're saying.
Yeah. Be tough. She's going to be a 4-team battle for sure. And it's going to be every week matters. And there's some really good quarterbacks in the West Division, and the West is back for sure.
I'm scared about BC this weekend, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Rourke looks like he's coming back to what he was as a first and second year player there in the league before he went to the NFL. He's looked sharp and coming off the injury that he recently had, and he was good this weekend. And so yeah, there's just going to be no easy nights in the West, and Edmonton looks like they're struggling, but go in there and take them lightly and see what happens.
Exactly. And they're gonna get better and better and better. Leonard's back at it here. He's like, what they could do is extend the roof out a little bit more where it covered most of the fan, like Winnipeg, so you don't get wet. That is a compromise. Probably too late now, unless they're gonna go to Freeze Tallman and get some sheets of wood.
We need
canvas.
We need to source out the tarps.
Get the tarps out of the Cooperator Center.
Yeah.
And put them to use at Mosaic.
Maybe there's a bulk savings that we can cooperate with.
There was a game last year where they had seats marked off though because of the snow buildup on the tarps, because it was potentially going to fall off and fall on these seats. So the tarps need to be reworked, and I know part of it's just our crazy winters. So it's part of that you're not going to beat. But I don't even think just extending the tarps a little bit's going to fix it.
No, you're beyond that now. It is what it is.
Roof ready.
We have a GoFundMe page, a telethon. Get a roof on it. Darien's there. Let's get going.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darien Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
Darien, there you are, right? Were you watching? Were you listening? Were you taking it all in Friday? How late did you stay up before you said, "The heck with this, I'm going to bed"?
Man, I tried, but I just couldn't make it. I was just too tired. And when I woke up, I think I woke up about 1:30 a.m. and I was just in panic because I'm like, oh my God, did the game start? Did I miss it? But then I saw that the game was postponed, so I was super happy, and I'm glad I didn't miss anything.
You listen and you watch the first little bit of that game, and it's like, well, Calgary just wants to get on the plane and back home wherever they slept last night. This is a sloppy football. They don't look good, but man, did they turn it around in a big way? What's your assessment of Vernon Adams and his game?
You know what? I thought, since Calgary signed VA, that he would be such a big help for this team. You put him together with a quarterback-minded head coach who knows how to use his strengths and knows that he has a big arm, and they use it to his ability of stretching the field. I mean, whenever you have a quarterback that can make every single throw on the field, and the game is starting to slow down for him, and he's starting to recognize defenses, that's a problem. He's a big threat. And I look at Henry Burris, and every throw that Hank could make, Hank would have these turnovers that you scratch your head about. But at the same time, whenever you can stretch the field, you become very dangerous. And you put him together with Dave Dickinson, they're a great duo, and you need to watch out for them.
Doubles, I want to take just a step outside the game or a step back before breaking into some in-game information. But I'd like your insight in how difficult it must have been for both of these teams, specifically even the Stampeders. I don't know how much information you caught out your way of once the game was canceled, they had to scramble and find, some players were staying at the dorms at the university. Some staff found hotel rooms, not all at the same hotel. You spent a career traveling. You know how difficult it is flying into a place when hotels are organized, then meals are organized, then travel to the stadium is organized, and it's still tough to get on the road and win a football game, let alone what these guys had to go through. So, and the Riders included being in that question all night. But from an athlete's perspective, how difficult would have that been for them to go through that and then get up on Saturday and be prepared to play a first place showdown?
You know what? This just reminds me of training. I mean, you're living in dorms. You have to wake up early in the morning for practice. You don't know the schedule of the next day sometimes. Then you have to, adjust yourself. You have to eat real quick. You have to go to meetings. It's just everything that the season is not, right? And so I think when you have a veteran team, it makes it easier to adjust to situations like this. Sleeping in dorms is nothing new to the guys. They go through it in training camp. So this is just all about resetting the mind, not living inside the comfort of being in your own home and just putting yourself in a training camp mindset so that you can get yourself just ready for football. And that's what it's all about in training camp. It's just football, football, football. And that was the same situation for the Stamps. For the Riders, I mean, you get to go home and, you have the luxury of being in your own bed and relaxing a little bit. So I kind of look at the Stampeders as it may have been an advantage for them, because I'm sure Coach Dickey was just reminding them, we've been through this. We've been up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We slept in these dorms, these single mattress dorms that are hard as bricks. So, it's something that you were doing for a couple weeks, and you just have to put your mind in that mind frame.
But you would have been the guy that snuck in one of the rooms at Hotel Sask. The guys going to the dorms would have been the practice or the guys that just off the practice roster. That would have been tough.
Hey, I can speak from inside experience that I may have been getting a tug on the arm saying, "Hey, RP, where are we staying tonight?"
Yeah, I would have had to know right away, right? But it just depends. If I had one of my receivers or someone, a very important guy, and I had a hotel room, I'd be like, I switch with you. I feel like I was the consummate teammate, right? So I don't know, but I may have given my room up for someone.
Hey, not knowing exactly what was going on in the locker room, but have you've ever been through a delay like this? Take us inside. Like, what would guys be busy doing? We heard some breakdowns that, they talk about the game plan a little bit and, try to stay loose and stay entertained. But what's going on inside a locker room when you're sitting there waiting for hours of uncertainty?
Yeah, I think it was my rookie year or maybe my second year in the league. We had a crazy rainstorm when we played Edmonton at home, and I think it was a 2-hour delay, something like that. And it's tough. I mean, you prepare yourself. Your routine is to get ready for maybe a 6 o'clock start, and you schedule your day around that, right? So as you're just sitting there, you just be as focused as you can, but it's hard. So, I was looking at the TSN cuts, and the guys were just loose, laughing, joking, having fun, trying to stay as focused as you can, but it's hard when you're waiting hour after hour. So, guys are different. Some guys have different mentalities, but I know it was difficult to sit there and wait for a long time because I've been through it.
If I would have went to your guy, the guy that I want to meet, your bookie on the street there, that's on my bucket list. If I would have went to him and say, "Hey, give me $100, AJ Ouellette under 10 yards rushing," he would have slapped me. He would have said, "You're crazy."
Exactly.
Like, isn't it? Yeah. It's almost like you look at that stat sheet, Darien, and you're like, "This is a misprint."
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no one could have envisioned AJ Ouellette being held to under 10 yards. And you just have to give credit to that Calgary Stampeder defensive line. They were just wrecking shop the entire game, just getting pressure on Trevor from, the interior of the line, which is a surprise for me. I thought that was a very strong part of the Rider offensive line, in the interior. But Calgary showed that if you could get some push up front, you can make it difficult. And you can also tell that they made their mind up that they were going to stop the run, let Trevor, dink and dunk and take all of the 5 to 7 yard passes all day and just stop the run game and try to put them in second and long situations.
Do you feel like their defense gives you a lot of different looks? It felt like they pressured from a lot of different areas, the way they blitzed. They'd send guys from a lot of different angles. Is that typical, or do they feel like their strong suit of Calgary is that they kind of give you a lot of different shows there?
Well, if you look at Barron Miles and his tenure in Ottawa, he did a lot of mixing up coverages with blitzes and things like that. But I think, what he sees with the Rider offense is that it's AJ Ouellette, and if you can stop him and make Trevor beat you consistently, then you give yourself a chance. I mean, Trevor is known for his high completion percentage, but there are a lot of underneath passes that he's completing. So if you can stop the run on first down, Trevor doesn't throw the ball a lot past 10 to 12 yards. So that looks like the game plan that they had coming in is just to put Saskatchewan in a second and long situation and give up a 5 to 7 yard pass on second down and make them punt. And, that was a great game plan by Barron Miles.
You touched on it right off the top with Vernon Adams coming over in free agency, but he throws the interception on the first offensive play of the game there, but he got it rolling from there for sure. And that duo of him and the Elford receiver, who looks like a real keeper, they were pretty dynamic.
Yeah, that's just the maturity of VA. I think early on in his career, if he would have thrown that interception first play of the game, it would have been a downward spiral from there. But you can just see his growth, his maturity. And like I said, just having a former Hall of Fame type quarterback in your ear and calming you down. And Dave Dickinson knows everything about what VA is going through and what he's seeing out there. So to have Dave in his ear and in his corner throughout the game is huge for VA. And like I said, just him showing the poise of being able to forget that bad play and to continue to keep going. It just shows his maturity.
You mentioned how they were getting to through our offensive line and they're getting to Harris and all that. That I don't know, I was going to ask you about this too, but that Ormalade hit where he comes in and he hits and Harris's head hits the turf violently. I was like, oh no, here we go again. But he gets up, he completes a deep ball the right next after play. That was a scary one, Darien.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you see a guy's head bounce off the turf like that, you're holding your breath because 9 times out of 10 that is a concussion. But the new technologies of these helmets are amazing, and you can see that. Luckily for him, if it wasn't for that helmet and the type of air that our good friend Gordy Gilroy put in that helmet, it could have been ugly. So kudos to Trevor for taking that hit and being able to get up and bounce back and making a play right after.
When you're watching that game and the first half wasn't good, and we talked about we weren't getting any rushing yards. What would you have changed? What did you see there from your brain as a quarterback? They started attacking, obviously, the outside, Robustelli, making some big plays. Did you see anything else that maybe you would have attacked?
You know what? It's just hard to, whenever you have a run game and you've been successful in the run game like Saskatchewan has in the previous 3-4 games, you want to get that going, right? So it's hard to just give up on it so early in the game. So, I think they had a game plan offensively. You just have to give credit to the Calgary defense. They came fired up. They came ready to play. And, sometimes the other team, they get paid too, right? You have to give them credit for stopping what you're trying to do. But I don't think that the Riders should have given up on the run game. They have a hell of a run game. And, AJ Ouellette has been great so far this season. So giving up on the run game early just isn't the thing to do. And like I said, you just have to give Calgary credit, man. They came to play and they did what they had to do.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week about how AJ really, energizes that offense. And when he gets rolling, I talked to you about when he's rolling and you have that running support there, how much of the field opens up, for other options and that. But it did feel in the second half, they're still only down by 14 points, at halftime, if, right around there. So he gets rolling and they've moved downfield and score. It's a football game again. But I agree, it was a little bit interesting from that. But it doesn't stop. They look ahead this week and have to roll into BC now. So
on the heels of that, though, kind of what were you? I didn't mind the gambles. We're late third quarter there. What did you think on the first gamble and the second one? I didn't mind them. What about you?
No, I understand. I mean, you're on the 3-yard line. I think they were, and you look. At that point in time, hindsight is always 20/20, right? And I mean, if they would have gotten a touchdown, you wouldn't have heard anything about it. So, I don't mind the gamble. Of course, when you look back, if they would have taken the 2 field goals, it would have been a 1-touchdown game. But at that point in time, when you get that far down the field and you're that close to scoring, a touchdown would have been huge for the momentum. You've been stopping Calgary, at the time. So I don't mind the gambles at all.
Was there a play? Like, would you have had a play back when you were playing, or maybe a couple of plays that you would have used there, or do you just stay with the same playbook and just go to one of your, whatever your feelings open on that day?
You know what? I think you're somewhat limited because Trevor isn't known as a running quarterback or extending plays and getting outside the pocket. I think you saw, with Calgary and VA, some of the huge plays they had down the field was when he was a running threat. So you're kind of limited in what you can do. I would like to see the Riders, throw more fades and throw it up to, Keyshawn Johnsons and these guys who can go up and make the 50-50 catches. I mean, you look around the league and, quarterbacks are just putting it up for their big play guys and letting them come down with the ball. So I would have been more comfortable with a fade or throwing it up and giving the receiver a chance rather than, just sitting back and trying to force the ball into coverage.
Did you catch the other games this weekend with specifically BC Edmonton matchup last night? Looked like it was going to be a football game for a little while, and then BC gets the ball and starts to run it wide open, and that's what the Riders are going to be up against this week now. So what do you see from Nathan Rourke coming back off his injury?
First of all, I want to apologize to Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions for saying that he didn't really have their respect. If you look at some of the footage before the game, he has the handshakes with every single receiver. I mean, it seems as if they love the guy. So, I want to apologize for that. And, they're rolling. And I think that comeback in Montreal to win at the last second, sometimes, there are season-defining wins, and on the road in Montreal against a really good team to win with the last-second field goal, sometimes that can, give you that momentum that you need, and they were just rolling. Nathan Rourke is just, he's getting the ball every place on the field you can name it, and Buck Pierce is doing a great job of playing to his strengths and getting him outside the pocket and using his legs and doing everything that Nathan Rourke does well. So this BC team looks very, very good, and you add that on to Benavides and Ryan Phillips coaching that defense. They're going to be a tough team as well. So I see the West as a three-team race it's going to be, and BC is going to be right there.
Hold on. You see it as a 3-team race? Who are you throwing to the fourth spot here?
Edmonton, yeah, they don't look good at all. No. It just seems like they don't know what to do with Trey Ford, right? He's just such a dynamic quarterback, but he's not a true pocket passer. And, it just seems like they just don't know how to utilize his talents and what he does well. So I just see, this year being just a tough year for them. And I pretty much see a quarterback change coming soon if they can't pick it up after this bye week.
Agreed.
On the text line coming in, a question for you. They're saying, what's Double D's opinion on the Alford hit out of bounds by Franklin? I didn't see much there. What's your take on that, D?
Man, when guys are running full speed and, look, things happen, and I don't want to just sit here and jump on the dirty train when things like that happen. I mean, these guys are world-class athletes. They're running full speed, and sometimes it's just hard to let up. Would I be upset about it? Of course, but at the end of the day, I don't want to call it dirty. It's just unfortunate.
TC in Medicine Hat wants to know. He wants all of our comments, but you're the guy that played. Get your thoughts on Josh Bell and the secondary's performance on Saturday. We kind of touched on that. That's what worries me, though, about Rourke. If VA, which is a good quarterback, can pick apart the zone the way he did, the little pump fakes, moving around, moving his eyes and all that, Rourke, he's a damn good quarterback. Yeah, so maybe your just comments on the secondary again and Josh Bell, Darren.
Look, the Riders have been, and I think Corey Mace comes from the Rich Stubler school of defense, where you keep everything in front of you, and you just give up the short play, and you wait for the quarterback to make a mistake. So I won't put the blame on the secondary. I think the D line has to get more pressure on these quarterbacks and speed up the quarterback's reads and make it tough for them. So sometimes you have to get pressure with just the front four. You shouldn't have to blitz all the time to create pressure, and it just seems like the Rider front four at the moment is just not getting enough pressure. Even on the road, VA had all day back there to throw. He's pump faking, he's rolling out, he's just sitting back there to the defense. It's 2nd and 20. I mean, 1st and 20 after a holding penalty, and he has all day to make a 17-yard throw down the field to put the Stampeders in 2nd and 3. So I would just like to see a lot better pass rush from the Riders, and I wouldn't put all the blame on the secondary.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we'll leave you with this. 36 years ago today, Milli Vanilli released Blame It on the Rain. What's your favorite Milli Vanilli song?
Milli Vanilli, man, I was a young kid at the time. It was another song they had. What is the name of it? Blame
Girl,
It on
you
the
know
Rain
it's true. Baby, don't forget my number.
That's it.
Or,
Girl, you know it's true.
there it
That's
is.
my
Just
song,
sing
man.
it.
Yeah.
Give us some.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you.
That's Darien Durant performing tonight at Habanos. All right, Darien. Thanks so much, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, no problem.
See you, Dubs.
Take care, RP.
It's brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. If you have harassment in the workplace, a lot of companies don't know how to deal with it correctly, get in touch with Campbell Safety Consulting. They can help out your place of business. We'll take a quick break. Come back, RP and I will get back into the roof discussion. We got some comments coming up from Stuart Johnson and maybe some Milli Vanilli. I never asked you what your favorite Milli Vanilli track was. It is a Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Sask Power is working to improve the power system in your area. In order to do their work safely, they need to shut the power off for customers in Regina and Whitmore Park, 0 blocks of Pine Place odd numbers, Malone Crescent odd numbers, 100 block of Logan Crescent all numbers, 100 block of Shannon Road odd numbers, and 200 block of Shannon Road even numbers from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Tuesday, July 15th, weather permitting. For updates on this outage, visit saskpower.com/outages.
The Regina Rams have been a football club since 1954, a team built on grit, pride, and tradition. With 70 seasons under their belt, the Rams' legacy runs deep, impacting thousands of fans, players, coaches, and families. You don't have to go far to find someone who has a connection to the team, a memory, a moment, and a story to tell. Join us for the Rams' 71st season. Whether it's your first game or your 100th, this year's story is still being written. Get your game tickets today at reginarams.com. It's football time. Go Rams.
Introducing the next generation of the RCH Hydro Mower from Highline, now more compact with exceptional maneuverability. Equipped with a unique hydraulic drive system, the RCH mower offers minimal maintenance, longer blade life, and increased cutting efficiency. With piston-style motors and a low pull-point hitch, you'll experience better flotation and smoother performance. Ready to cut smarter? Available at Young's Equipment, your local Case IH and Highline dealer. Visit youngs.ca and experience the Highline RCH mower today. Highline, designed with purpose.
The team of experienced farmland real estate agents at Shepherd Realty in Regina has farm and ranch properties for sale. 292 acres of farmland near Lipton and Fort Capel, and 394 acres near Mydale. To learn more, see the team at Shepherd Realty. Or if you're considering selling your farm or ranch property, call 352-1866. That's 352-1866. ShepherdRealty.ca.
Looking to sell farm machinery or heavy equipment? At Asset Link, they do more than auctions. They listen. Whether you want to consign or a full auction sale, they help you choose what's right for your bottom line. Born and raised right here in Saskatchewan, they understand the land, the market, and the people who make it run. So when it's time to sell, link up with the team that knows the prairies best. Selling 365 days a year. Asset Link. Prairie strong, customer focused. AssetLink.ca.
Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000 square foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. Apply now.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's good to be home.
Mom, what's for dinner? Can we get pizza?
Before Mom even had a chance to get annoyed, she recognized the good idea one of her kids actually had.
Not bad. Not bad.
After a long day when you don't feel like cooking, think Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or takeout. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
If you're planning to go to Curry Field tonight to watch the Red Sox and Swift Current, find alternate plans. The game is postponed. They're going to play a double dip July 26th instead. So far, Saskatoon's in Weyburn, Moose Jaw, Medicine Hat tonight. The Riders signed Canadian offensive lineman Darien Durant today. BC Lions 5th round, 41st overall pick in the 2025 draft. No Blue Jay game today because it's All-Star break. Home Run Derby goes tonight. Things wrapped up in Prince Albert in the Fastball World Cup. It was Venezuela over New Zealand. USA beat Japan in the bronze medal game, and Canada finished 5th. And then Edmonton Oilers, you have added Paul McFarland as an assistant coach. He was head coach with Calgary last year in the Western Hockey League. Peter Aubry is the goaltending coach, and Connor Allen, a skills coach. Dustin Schwartz not offered a contract extension as goaltender coach, and Paul Coffey is going to return to his role as special advisor to ownership and hockey operations. That is your Sport Ticker in Hour 3 for Regina Steelcraft Doors in Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. They're now into their 40,000 square foot new warehouse. If you need a garage door, they have it. Milli Vanilli. You had the tape.
Well, we had the tape for sure.
The catalog isn't that deep.
No.
36 years ago, they released Blame It on the Rain. That must be their biggest hit. Baby, Don't Forget My Number.
Mm-hmm. We were just serenaded by doubles with the Girl, You Know It's True.
Girl, You Know It's True, which is fantastic. And then the slow one is Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You, or I'm Gonna Miss You. You see the Menendez brothers documentary?
Yes.
Where they play that at the funeral?
Yes.
And that was that's a legit story.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Super weird.
I'm sticking with Blame It on the Rain. They arrived with a banger. That's the one I'm flying with.
Yeah, they were good. And they would make it now because everybody's doing it. They would be okay.
Didn't you have to actually sing songs though to make it?
But with the auto tune and the backtracks and all that nowadays, Milli Vanilli would be okay. It's like Def Leppard last night. I know he can't sing that well anymore, but the way the technology works now,
yeah.
Lie to me.
Keep
it's
it
okay.
going.
I am good. Back to the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 936-6262. The roof. Why we don't have a roof. And Benny hasn't replied back after the Fargo Dome play. When they were constructing, or you were working with the Riders and all that, was it roof ready? Is that what they called it?
That was the term that was used, the roof ready. I maybe everything's roof ready, technically, right? And I'm not being crass or coy about it or whatever, but it just, the feasibility of adding a roof to it at the time of the build didn't make sense. And I don't know if this is going to be breaking news across the province. I can't imagine adding one now would be much better. So the ship has sailed some 7 years after the stadium is opened. It's interesting that this comes up. Up again.
How's that heating and cooling bill?
Yeah,
like not even Tommy Lasorda. That's gonna work. We have clips because you went Friday with the family.
Yep.
Hung out till what time?
Just after 9.
The shoot. That was aggressive.
I'll say that I could read the tea leaves a little bit, what was coming, and yeah.
That's a ballsy move because I thought for sure they were getting it in that night, somehow, some way. But you decided, Jet, we're out. The one thing that you talked about in hour 2 when you first came on here was you just thought the communication could have been better.
Yeah, and again, I'm glad it's 48 hours, whatever or more later. I'm not piling on anyone, and especially live and the things that they have to deal with in live time. And I get to sit up there with my beverage of choice and ask questions why this is happening or why this isn't happening. But, just from my perspective, again, an opinion, I thought that maybe it would have been a good call that right after that they established that the game was going to have a smoke issue. Why not set a time like 8 p.m. and say that this is what we're going to do? And if I recall correctly, I know my family was literally about to walk out the door to go there, and we weren't going early after getting home from work and dealing with some things. We weren't going to be there super early. And that's when we found out that the game was actually delayed by 45 minutes, and then it just got pushed another 15, and then it got pushed a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we're standing in the stadium kind of watching this needle move. Again, hindsight's easy and when you're not involved, but I would have just liked to see it's going to be 8, it's going to be 9, it's going to be nothing. And I know that's difficult to do. And, especially I believe that they wanted to play. I wholeheartedly believe that they wanted to play, but I think there becomes a time where you just kind of accept what it is, especially when 2:00 became a realistic option. Maybe they could have moved there a little bit quicker, and that's where I get conflicted on the player safety side, right? Because they can't play because of player safety because of the smoke. Well, how long do they hold them there until 2 p.m. becomes a player safety issue? The next day when you start talking about accommodations and food, and they've been geared up and taped up and stretched, and at what point does that become an issue? So again, they went out and played football, and generally speaking, everything went okay. And I don't envy Craig Reynolds and the Calgary staff that had to be consulted, and CFL. That's an unenviable situation and one that you don't prepare for. But in hindsight, I think they did overall a pretty good job of handling things.
I would like to ask Craig or the financial guy for the Riders what that cost the organization.
Yeah, it's hard to determine, right? They do get some of that concession, but it's a split cost on the concession. I don't think they get as much as people think they do. The next day was essentially a full game day. I don't know. I never actually heard of what any scans or in stadium was. It was not a massive crowd, and with some concessions down. And did it drive more rider store sales because people were sitting around? I don't know. It's hard to judge, but there'd definitely be an economic impact for sure.
Like Colson said, right? You got the union dealing with Real, which we can fire up the crew again here tomorrow, but this is the price tag passed on to you, which is okay. Well, we need to have this. Volunteers one thing, and then it's all the people that you pay, the in stadium people, I think the police officers, they're going to block off streets again. You got to get buses running again.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the great avenue to look at it. Is there's this revenue line that was created with a double dip, having people in there Friday, having people in there Saturday. But my guess is that the expenses would exceed that. Even walking into the stadium, we looked at all that stuff, and then my son asked as we're walking, he's like, so all these police officers had to come back and help block off the stadium, and they bring in those big front end loaders and all that so all that has to get turned around in a quick hurry. The buses that drive people from the different mall locations and things like that wouldn't have been booked the next day. Bus drivers. The level of detail just continues to move on and on.
Commissioner of the League, Stuart Johnson, talking about how they could have done things better. They'll definitely learn from this.
I think there's some things that we as a league can improve upon. We felt, we tried to communicate. I think our volume of communication was at a level that made sense. I think a learning experience for me and for us as a team is to be even significantly more specific in the words we use in communicating. I think we should have described exactly what we were reviewing. And the air quality index is this. The winds are at X kilometers an hour. We are looking at Moose Jaw. Moose Jaw is down to a 3, and we think that condition's coming to us, which is why we're going to delay for an hour, because we think the Moose Jaw experience does look like it's going to happen here, and that's what we're counting on. And then it didn't happen. I think it's on us to have been far more specific in the information we were giving, because I think transparency is incredibly important. And I think we were trying to communicate, but I think we didn't go far enough in our detail.
Live and learn. There's lessons to be learned everywhere. Don't mind that he comes out and says that. I think, with this day and age with social media too, to get things out to the masses, it's pretty easy. But I don't mind your point. Like you said, maybe they could have just started with, because you heard they had a call at 3.
Yeah, they have an afternoon check-in for sure with with the conditions, and not like the conditions just snuck up on anyone. So I had heard contingency plans were being made in the middle of the afternoon, which makes total sense. So in my mind, as soon as that was established, you could have set a hard time, not a hard time, not what I mean, but a time for that. A delay, but just to kind of inch it along is what kind of got me. But again, they were hopeful. The forecast was telling them certain things, and it didn't pan out. So again, I'm not here to beat anyone up over it, but I
wouldn't want to be making those decisions
for sure.
I wouldn't want to be making those decisions. I can't even figure out the grocery list in our house. That'd be intense. And you got the bottom line, the dollars. And trying to find qualified people. You just can't have any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
That's
security, all that. We'll take a quick break. We'll get some of these messages on the Prairie Land Rentals text line when we come back. It is a Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Sask Power is working to improve the power system in your area. In order to do their work safely, they need to shut the power off for customers in all of Caronport and customers east of Chaplin Street in Caron, northeast and east of Caron to Caronport and surrounding communities from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday, July 15th, weather permitting. Again, the power will be out for 2 hours on Tuesday, July 15th for customers in Caronport. For updates on this outage, visit saskpower.com/outages.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Do you have a safety program or OHS committee? Call Campbell Safety. Harassment in the workplace? Call Campbell Safety. Don't know if you have a proper safety program? Call Campbell Safety. Once you have an injury, it's too late to have a safety program. Be proactive with Campbell Safety Consulting. They'll come out and customize your safety program and be that extra set of eyes you need. 35 years experience doing health and safety, and they have seen it all, and then some. Call them today and get a free consultation. Campbell Safety Consulting.
Hey, let's hit up Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Pump? You talking about my basketball shoes?
No, Pump Jack's Cathedral.
Who?
Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. They're open now. They've got a large selection of local draft and food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. There's live entertainment every weekend.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
When it comes to your combine, efficiency is key. Why settle for average? The Redicop Mav Straw Chopper is designed with precision engineering and fits all major combine brands. Redicop Mav Straw Choppers provide a sharper cut and a uniform spread of your residue up to 60 feet wide. Upgrade your combine with a Redicop Mav Straw Chopper today. Contact Redicop or your local parts dealer to start planning your best harvest yet. Redicop, helping farmers produce more with less. Online at redicopmfg.com.
It's an F-Series summer this July at Capital Ford Lincoln. Save up to $18,000 on new Ford F-150s. Or lease a Super Crew 4x4 for just $499 a month at 0% for 2 years. Go big on a brand new Super Duty and get up to $15,000 off. And our pre-owned lineup is stacked. Buybacks, lease returns, premium local trades, and more. We're under construction, but we're open for business. It's an F-Series summer, only for a limited time at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Hey Canada, set a reminder and get ready for Tim Hortons Camp Day on Wednesday, July 16th. Buy a coffee, a Camp Day bracelet, or donate on the Tim's app to help build a better future for Canadian youth at participating restaurants in Canada.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. Welcome back to Sportscage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
This comment's come down a number of times on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, and I think you mentioned it too, RP. Tristan and Melfort kind of alluding to it, and Nancy and Regina, and Doug in Outlook. What about the kids that were playing ball in different areas on Friday? Because I guess there was like provincial softball going on.
Yeah, lots of sports going around the city on Friday as well. So obviously different standard, and they don't have a players' association to protect them. But
we were both kind of hooped on the flag regionals in June when the purple air and where it was and all that. But where it was reading Friday, like when Colson and I did the show, we did the show for an hour. Like it was off the charts.
Yeah,
like it was like. You hope maybe a bit at 8 o'clock, like they were, but it was so for the kids to be out there playing whatever those leagues and whoever's making the call there, that's aggressive. But yeah, and then we talked about the cheerleaders are out there and it was safe for them and other running around. Who would be the PA? Who's all in the PA nowadays?
Solomon Elmimian is the president or whatever executive director, whatever their title is there. But then they have team reps, so they would literally have even guys within the Rough Rider locker room and Stampeder locker room that would be being consulted, if on site and throughout. But, they did talk about that, though, the communication lines were open. I did see some of those articles that they were really happy with how they communicated their way through it internally and made those decisions and followed protocol. And, hey, that's why you have protocol. And you can't have protocol and then when it gets there, just ignore it. So to their credit, they stuck to what was right and under their policies, and that's how the decisions were made.
Heather and Regina here. This is a really good point. Paratransit wasn't able to reset and have buses and drivers available for the game Saturday afternoon, and the regular routes were full. So I had to get rides to the stadium with family. I was able to get a hold of someone at the Riders to set up a drive-in and drop-off for fans like myself who have mobility challenges. There was no way I would have been able to walk to and from the stadium, especially after the game. Didn't even think about paratransit.
Right.
Like there you go. You got to set up again. Hey, can you work tomorrow? Can you do this? Then the routes are full. Thanks, Heather, for that. Another.
Yeah, it's a long, long list, and that's where I do give the Riders a ton of credit. They did some really good things, and I know they were working, into the night and up first thing in the morning to get those things accommodated. So, credit to them for those efforts.
And they gave people $50. Is that true that they give people $50?
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that they gave season ticket holders $50 to the Riders store, but
that's going to hurt their bottom line again. I have more money out the window. Again, don't forget, no game at Curry Field tonight. Red Sox and Swift Current has been postponed. They're going to play a double dip instead on July 26th. Thanks for doing this again.
You betcha.
And then next week we're going to talk about the Royal dinner when you're in on.
Yeah, looking forward
Monday.
to it. It'll be a good conversation after.
Start with a rash because he's coming in and all that. Colson, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. It is a Sports Cage. Always streaming at sportscage.com. And yes, let's go. We have the Red Sox report with Tegan.
Showcasing the boys of summer. Time for another edition of the Sports Cage Regina Red Sox Report on 620 CKRM.
For Unifor 594, energy workers putting the care in career since 1942, safety is our business. I'm Tegan Whitco. The Regina Red Sox are riding a 6-game win streak heading into this week, the last of which a big win over the Moose Jaw Miller Express at home, evening up the rivals' season series with 2 wins apiece. Yesterday afternoon at Curry Field also featured some special guests, such as Sportsnet's Jamie Campbell, along with players and staff from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Looking ahead to the WCBL All-Star Game this Saturday in Okotoks, the Red Sox will be well represented. Pitchers Blake Johnson and Kai Langford, hometown catcher Brady Bye, center fielder Ian Montz, and shortstop Matthew Fox have all earned spots on the All-Star roster. When it comes to the Regina Red Sox roster, there's been some movement. Team president Gary Brotzel shared some updates.
We've recruited some really good players. Unfortunately, other teams are after him, but Jackson Searing left, and he's going to pursue some independent pro baseball. Jacob Steele's likely leaving Friday. He's going to get going to Major League drafts, so tip of the cap to him. I mean, that's a great accomplishment, and we wish him all the best. And Jalen Seward had to go home and have some wrist surgery before school started, so a couple unfortunate events there, but we're prepared for it.
The club remains in third place in the East Division behind the Medicine Hat Mavericks and the league-leading Saskatoon Berries. And that's your Red Sox report for Unifor 594.
Been there, done that. We get it. And we've got something great for you. The Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM. We're giving you the chance to win a 100-ton fertilizer bin from Core Grain. All you have to do is be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at, all across southern Saskatchewan. You'll also have some chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw will take place at Ag in Motion this July. Don't miss out on your chance to have a shot at the Great Bin Giveaway.
Brought